happy birthday to Captain James Lovell. Yes, the astronaut. We're going to celebrate his birthday. He is in his 90s and still around. I want to bubble wrap Jim Lovell, and I'm so glad that we get to celebrate his birthday. And to celebrate, EAA Museum Director Chris Henry is going to be my guest in just a few minutes to talk about Lovell's connection with Wisconsin and what Jim Lovell has really meant, not just to space travel, but also in pop culture. And I always got the impression he's just a really decent human being, too. And because Milwaukee PBS did an interview with him probably just before the pandemic, probably 2019-ish, but just, opened his home and was telling stories just as whip smart as ever. So national treasure, Captain James Lovell. We're going to celebrate his birthday today. And also, don't know if you have this on your calendar or not, but the 25th of March every year is Tolkien Reading Day. That has been established by the Tolkien Society. And if you didn't realize this, Marquette University has a collection of Tolkien manuscripts that they acquired in the 1950s before Tolkien shot to fame and all of the Lord of the Rings movies and everything else that came from those fantasy novels. So we're going to talk with Marquette University's Dr. Bill Fliss, the keeper of the manuscripts, and Professor Jerry Canavan, who teaches Tolkien in literature at Marquette University, and just discover more about why they're here and how can we see them. So happy Tolkien Reading Day to you, and maybe it's an excuse to stream one of your favorite Lord of the Rings movies later after you learn all about Marquette's connection. Also tonight, how can you build a lakefront landmark with Lego bricks? Tell you how. There's also still time to nominate an art lover in your circle for a Milwaukee Arts Board Award. Details on that deadline and the criteria. It is spring break for a lot of students. What's up at the Milwaukee Public Museum this week with discounted deals and engaging attractions? You'll find out that. Also a comedy announcement today for I want to go see this show. A man who's been in dozens of TV shows and movies. You will hear that comedy show update. Hundreds of beavers and mascots on Maine are part of tonight's What's on Tap. Also helping you make the most of your entertainment budget. United Performing Arts Fund's Katie Couric is also a Broadway superfan, and Katie from UPAF is going to share her picks for Marcus Performing Arts Center's newly announced Broadway Across America season, which we've had as a hot topic around here the past week since that announcement last week. And speaking of Broadway Across America, wishing a big old break a leg to the cast and crew of the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise. Tonight is opening night of the show, and it's going to run at the Marcus Performing Arts Center through Sunday. And I will tell you, of Neil Diamond's songs, it's got a beautiful beat. I was not really familiar with this song, and it's got a lot of Neil Diamond songs in it, and A Beautiful Noise was created in collaboration with songwriter Neil Diamond himself, the uplifting true story of how a kid from Brooklyn became a chart-busting, show-stopping American rock icon. And, similar to Jersey Boys or Beautiful, the Carole King musical, it's got that kind of a style, but it's his story, and Neil Diamond was personally involved. He worked closely with the creative team to make sure that the story was honest and authentic, and it's told sort of through the frame of therapy sessions where an older Neil Diamond reflects on his past and, goes through all the good stuff, self-doubt, fame, the relationships, and the lyrics of the songs are woven in. I mean, think about all the music. Sweet Caroline, Cracklin' Rosie, I Am, I Said. I won't sing for you. America. I mean, think about all the songs that Neil Diamond is known for. It's going to be part of this musical, and it really, one of the most interesting angles of this is it takes on an additional weight, knowing that Neil Diamond was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2018, and that was why he retired from touring. So being able to still share his story on stage with his input is really special. So congratulations to the cast and crew. And if you're on your way there now, I hope you enjoy the show. But, I love to do the song you need to hear just before 7 o'clock. It has something to do with, something around. Well, let's do a Neil Diamond song for the song you need to hear. But help me pick what it is. There's so many songs. What is the Neil Diamond song you need to hear tonight? The Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620. text in your favorite Neil Diamond song or one that you'd just like to hear on the radio, and we'll figure out what song to play for the song you need to hear about 645. That's 855-616-1620. Text me a Neil Diamond song. And next, celebrating the birthday of accomplished astronaut Captain James Lovell, next on What's on Tap.
Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live is back. March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis Adetokounmpo for a live show that's sure to entertain like none other. Last year, it was a surprise appearance from ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. You never know what Thanasis has planned for 2025. Get your tickets to Thanalysis Live right now. Visit ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter for event and ticket info. It's Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live, presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Carbless. Also supported by the Prisoner Wine Company and McDonald's.
Raise a glass with me. I'm Sandy Max on WTMJ. And September, come with me on a 10-day beer and brewery tour through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. Oh, it's going to be fun. And you don't have to be the biggest beer connoisseur. It's a way to sip through and enjoy the history and the architecture and the culture of these three great countries. We're going to visit Munich, starting there. We're going to go to a legendary beer hall, Hofbrauhaus, and we're going to get in on special private brewery tours with our small WTMJ group. We're going to visit the fairy tale beauty of the stunning Neuschwanstein Castle. We're going to be in Salzburg in Austria, home of Mozart, also home to Austria's oldest breweries, Steiger and Augustiner Brau Klostermuln. Vienna, going to stroll through there, see the history, and they have a vibrant craft beer scene. And we're going to wrap up the tour in Prague, picturesque and beautiful, and they have the famous Budweiser Budvar Brewery. Oh, no, not like the St. Louis. This is the historic brewery in Prague. So come with me, a perfect blend of culture, history, and Europe's finest brews. There are limited spots available. Don't miss out. Email me, sandy@WTMJ.com, SANDY@WTMJ.com, and I'll get you that brochure. Come join me.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get 0% interest for up to 72 months. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Max on WTMJ.
Not just any astronaut, Captain James Lovell. Happy birthday to a true American hero and a space pioneer. He is the legendary NASA astronaut. He flew on, they say, Gemini 7, Gemini 12, and on Apollo 8, the first mission to orbit the moon, and of course, leading the dramatic return of Apollo 13 to Earth in 1970, the mission that turned failure into one of NASA's finest hours. And we're celebrating this legendary astronaut today with a special guest, Chris Henry, director of the EAA Aviation Museum. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, happy Captain Lovell's birthday to you.
Absolutely. It's a holiday in our house for sure.
Oh, how long have you been with the EAA Museum?
Just coming up on 13 years.
And have you had the chance do you get to call him Jim? Have you met Captain Lovell?
I have. I do call him Jim. I've had the honor. The cool thing about EAA is it really gives you a chance to meet and work with your heroes, and Jim Lovell is one of those. I've worked with him on a few occasions, a couple different reunions that we had here at Oshkosh, the air show here in July, and I can't speak highly enough about him. Just such a wonderful guy. Like no ego. I mean, if I did something anywhere nearly as cool, I think I'd, like be pretty proud of it. And he's proud of it, but he's just so he's just a humble hero. I mean, just such a nice guy.
Down to earth with a good sense of humor has been my experience in seeing him. I saw him speak, gosh, years ago when I lived in Chicago. He did a talk with Buzz Aldrin downtown Chicago. I got to see that. That was probably, I'm embarrassed to say, almost 15 years ago. But then at EAA, was it the summer of 2017, where David Hartman moderated a wonderful panel full of astronauts and just everybody who was around in those Apollo years. And Jim Lovell was part of that too, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. That was actually my program that year. Everybody gets, when you work at EA, you get like side projects. Everybody does something different than their normal job. And that year, that was my assignment, was to gather the Apollo astronauts for the reunion. And the thing I remember the most about that is him and Frank Borman, Jim Lovell and Frank Borman could have had a comedy show. Like, they were just hilarious. He very easily could have had like a Tonight Show kind of setup for them.
You sent us a picture of the two of them on stage together. We'll put that up on our WTMJ YouTube live stream, because you're right, they're just cracking each other up. And you have to think that those Apollo astronauts and Gene Kranz, like, they all share a moment of history and a bonding time that like no one else does.
Exactly. I mean, and it's so interesting when you get them all back together. You know, at one point we had them in a room, and I'm sitting there looking, and I'm the only person on staff from EAA there at that point, and I'm like, I'm the only person in this room that like didn't go to the moon. Like, this is really crazy. So, but yeah, they shared this moment together, and you're right, especially the crews, like the individual crews, like Apollo 8, Apollo 13. They're so tightly bonded. I think you're just kind of forever friends. And Frank Borman told me that we have the Borman exhibit in our museum, that it's focused on Frank, but of course, because of his missions in Gemini 7 and Apollo 8, there's a lot of Jim Lovell in it as well. And, Frank told me, Gemini 7 was 2 weeks locked basically in the front seat of a Volkswagen, flying around in space together. And he said, when you go on a mission like that, you're either going to emerge best friends or mortal enemies. And he goes, I got lucky and had Jim Lovell with me. And he goes, we came out best friends.
That's incredible, because it really was absolutely cramped, and no one had done that before.
Yeah, Gemini 7 was the first, flight of that endurance. It was a 2-week mission. Part way through, they did something called station keeping or formation flying with Gemini 6. But then Gemini 6 got to come home, and they had to stay up there for another week. So that's a long time. I mean, literally, it's about the size of the front two seats of your car that they were stuck in for 2 straight weeks.
And how historic and risky was that mission in particular for Gemini 7?
Yeah, I mean, it was putting it out there. I mean, you're anytime you're talking about staying up there for an extended period of time, that's risky. I mean, our Gemini program was pretty solid, but let's face it, you're sitting on top of a booster going into space, so it is risky. And they didn't, everybody was a little nervous about when I say station keeping or formation flying. They wanted to see if they could rendezvous in space. So there's a lot of risk. I mean, when you're doing something for the first time, there's always more risk. But I think Apollo 8 was probably the most risky. That was the first time we're going to fly a manned mission of the Saturn V rocket. To date, still the most powerful machine ever built by man. 7.5 million pounds of thrust. It's as tall as a 35-story building, and it's the rocket that took us to the moon. And Apollo 8 with Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders. That was that first crew, and they're going to orbit the moon. The first time that was ever done. First time we're going to leave low Earth orbit, and they'd actually told that crew that there's a 1 in 3 chance that you'll come home. And they, Frank said we didn't bat an eye. We had to go. To them, it was a Cold War mission. They said, we wanted to get the high ground on Russia. We wanted to make sure America's space program is always the most premier one there is, and to them, that was worth the risk, and they were going to do it. So Apollo 8 was always one of the most intriguing space missions I think ever undertaken.
Oh, we are talking with Chris Henry. He's the director of the EAA Aviation Museum, and he created one of the most magical air venture moments ever by gathering all those Apollo astronauts and Gene Kranz for that summertime under the stars. It was absolutely magic. So thank you for doing that and all that you do to preserve space travel history. I want to ask you more about Captain Jim Lovell's connections to Wisconsin when we come back as we celebrate Captain Jim Lovell's birthday. Stay with us on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
If you missed this,
can you talk about how often officers are ending up at schools and how difficult those situations are?
3,100 calls a school year. It was about 17 calls a day.
Or this.
Handpicking the press pool. What are your thoughts on that?
I have many, as you might imagine. I've been in the press pool covering the White House, the greatest privilege of my reportorial life.
Catch up on the Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast at WTMJ.com, presented by Dave Drakamp Heating.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks, on demand, in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
Imagine all the things you dream of under one roof. You're thinking of eBay. Fashion, collectibles, car parts. It's all there. Go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Pain can make you feel like no matter what you try, it's not going to work. Or it can make you try any and everything. And most times that'll make you feel like you've been taken for a ride. It's hard to believe that there's a solution to your pain problem that works, is safe, and is actually affordable. But that's why most insurance plans pay for pain treatments from Rejuvenex, because they're FDA approved and they do work. Toradol and hyaluronic acid work together to substantially alleviate your pain. And we've seen patients experience pain relief for greater than 2 years after completing a series of treatments. Is it a one and done? No. But at as low as $65 per joint, it's an affordable alternative to surgery. And it's not an expensive cross your fingers and hope it works experiment. Especially for older pain sufferers, the pain treatment that Rejuvenex offers is worth trying, because the vast majority of patients who do live better lives in a lot less pain. Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Your basement. Ooh, wall cracks. Oh no, seepage. And stains on the bottom of those walls. Terrifying. The only thing scarier than basement issues are businesses that prey on your fear over those terrifying foundational cracks. The team at Gatish Foundation never uses high-pressure sales tactics. Over 90% of Gatish Foundation's jobs are through referrals. So, for an honest opinion on the condition of your basement, call Gatish Foundation today. Spelled G-A-I-Dish. Gatish.com.
This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max.
Happy birthday, Captain James Lovell, who has a street named after him in Milwaukee, a pioneering astronaut, and also grew up in Milwaukee. He was born in Ohio, but grew up in Milwaukee, went to Juneau High School, which is now a Montessori school, but met his wife, Marilyn, and also a Milwaukee native, and went to UW-Madison for a couple years before becoming an astronaut and truly making his mark on the world and in space. And joining me to celebrate Captain James Lovell's birthday from the EAA Aviation Museum, Chris Henry. And Chris, what are some other impacts you think Lovell had on Wisconsin?
Well, I think so much. I mean, I think one of the biggest things for us at EAA is he actually had an influence on our founder, Paul Poberezny. Paul was a Milwaukee Air National Guard pilot. And they actually spent some time together throughout the day, but that actually even goes back to their military program, where Jim Lovell was there getting ready to start up and taxi out in a fighter. Paul taxied by in a transport plane, which was taller and he could see more. And he actually flagged him down and said, "Hey, you didn't check your tail. There's ice on it." And Jim Lovell went and checked the top of his tail, and he actually had some icing on it. And he always credited Paul with saving him, because he would have taken off with ice on the tail and it wouldn't have been a good thing. So, but
yeah, you remember those life-saving moments. Exactly. That's a heck of a favor.
Absolutely. My favorite comment, by the way, Marilyn, the first time that Jim asked her out, she turned him down. I always thought that was funny, and he kind of kept at it. So,
he's persistent, if anything. Yeah, he's going to figure out how to solve that problem.
He absolutely did. And just a remarkable person, remarkable family. I mean, Lovell's mom, Jim's mom, was a single mom. His dad, unfortunately, was killed in a car accident, and And that's when they moved to Wisconsin. I mean, so even his mom was a remarkable person, which you kind of see her depicted in the movie if you've seen the movie. I think the biggest impact he's had in Wisconsin, though, is his willingness to just come and be part of the programs in schools and museums. And this gentleman is just so giving of his time, and he's literally a giant to the space program. But he's always willing to come and talk about his time in the space program and anything he can do to grow future astronauts. And to see a hero like that really work toward being so giving of his time and working toward the future of spaceflight, it's just really inspiring, and it makes you know that you're looking up to the right kind of person.
Do you have one particular artifact, maybe from Captain Lovell's career, on display at the Aviation Museum that you're proud of, or that you like to point to?
Oh, we have a few for sure, especially with the Apollo 8. One of my favorite ones is actually a thank you note, and so I have two, and I'll talk quickly. One is a thank you note to Joe Engel, another astronaut who actually worked in the simulator with Ken Mattingly to try to help get them home when the Apollo 13 explosion happened. And one is a picture of, if you've seen the movie, there's a scene where they had to stand across the road from their families. They couldn't cross to keep the crew sterile the night before the launch. And it's a photo Susan Borman took of the crew, of Jim Lovell, Frank, and Bill, standing across the road with their rocket in the background, and she took it the night before they launched on Apollo 8. And to me, it means so much, because that is just literally, it's not a press photo or something. This is just Susan Borman's picture of them and her husband and his friends the night before they're going to go up and try to orbit the moon. And I really love that photo.
There's a very human aspect to that.
It is. It's their family scrapbook.
Yeah.
Like we go to Disney World, they happen to launch and orbit the moon.
And Chris, I want to ask you just one more thing, and I want to tell you that we got on the Sighting Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line, 855-616-1620. Peter texted in, and Peter was at that same event that I was, Chris, when the Apollo astronauts appeared at the Theater in the Woods at EAA Air Venture in 2017, and he says he also has the DVD.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we did the DVDs for everybody. It was just such a historic event. We had to document it. I mean, you to have that many of them together, and it's the last time we've been able to get, anybody's been able to get that many of them together.
Yeah, so. And David Hartman was a wonderful moderator. So now, since you organized that, Chris, I have to imagine you're on a text chain. How does EAA, what's your phone like on Jim Lovell's birthday?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I usually trade some messages with his family and things like that, and that's always really nice. And we do get some calls. A lot of interest in the exhibit. A lot of people. I mean, our museums have been really busy the last few days. Like I said, even though it's the Borman collection for Frank Borman, because they flew two really historic missions together, Jim's featured a lot in it, and so we definitely get a lot of traffic through there for it. And it means a lot to me, because it shows that people truly care about these heroes and our history, and it's very heartwarming to see as someone who runs the museum.
Thank you, Chris Henry, director of the EAA Aviation Museum in Oshkosh. Keep up the great work. Thank you for celebrating with us here on WTMJ, Captain James Lovell's birthday.
Well, thank you for having me.
Take good care.
You too. Bye-bye.
How can you build a lakefront landmark with Lego bricks? Learn how to get the directions. How to build one of our most beautiful architectural buildings in Milwaukee. Next on What's on Tap. But first we go to the WTMJ Breaking News Center. Here is Sean Brenda.
Thanks, Sandy. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation announces its third and final public involvement meeting for the Reimagining Wisconsin 175 study. The study team will share the latest alternatives based on input from stakeholders and the public. A final report will be prepared to document the analysis conducted and findings. The open house-style meeting will be held on the evening of April 2nd at the Washington Park Senior Center. And facing sex crime charges for communicating with an underage girl, 33-year-old Cody Hubanks sent inappropriate messages and photos of himself on Facebook to a person he believed was a 14-year-old girl. He was arrested on March 20th after traveling to the town of Geneva to meet up with the girl. Charges are pending. And from cats to baked goods, the former Sip and Purr Cat Cafe on Milwaukee's east side will soon become a Poppy Bakery. Owner Amy Gorski tells the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel it will feature cinnamon rolls, cookies, and cheesecakes made from local ingredients. This will be her first brick-and-mortar location after starting out at farmers markets. Meanwhile, Sip and Purr is closed and will possibly reopen at its new location on Brady Street. Take a look at your roads with your WTMJ Johnson Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. We have no major incidents on the roads at this time in the Milwaukee area, so drives should be smooth tonight. Time for your WTMJ 5-day forecast. That's going to be mostly clear with a frost and a low of 28 degrees. Wednesday's going to be partly cloudy with a high of 47 degrees. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of morning showers with a high of 54 degrees. Friday, chance of showers and storms with a high of 65 degrees. And Saturday, we'll have a chance of showers and storms with a high of 56 degrees. Right now in Eau Claire, it's 47 degrees. In Palmyra, it's 45 degrees. And right here in Milwaukee, it's 42 degrees. I'm Sean Brinda, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 6:33.
He's Donald Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk. And now Musk is trying to buy Brad Schimmel a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Because Musk knows when you buy Schimmel, he'll do whatever you want. Like when Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave Schimmel thousands of dollars. And Schimmel will ban abortion with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of the mother. Deeply corrupt and totally extreme. That's the real Brad Schimmel. There's a better choice.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I've made sure rapists, murderers, and child predators were behind bars.
Protecting your family and your most basic rights. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
And I trust women to make their own healthcare decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will.
So on April 1st, vote for Judge Susan Crawford, Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin.
WTMJ fans, have you been keeping up with the basketball madness happening? Well, there's more to come this week and weekend. Only 16 teams remaining, and our friends at Palermo's are doing a contest giveaway. You're invited to participate. All you have to do, go to the WTMJ Facebook page, find the post that asks what 4 teams you think will be the last 4 remaining. The winner will receive 10 free pizza coupons. Yes, 10 free Palermo's pizza coupons. Go join in on the madness thanks to Palermo's Pizza.
When you want the best medical attention, you don't just go to anybody, you go to a specialist. The same should be true with your car or truck. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. When your vehicle needs service, take it to a specialist, an Adam member new car dealer. Adam dealers use factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians specially trained on the advanced technology on your vehicle. They have all the latest manufacturer service bulletins and will know if your issue is covered by an existing warranty or if there are any recalls. And despite what you might assume, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine maintenance and tires. Now, knowing all that, why would you even consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
For great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max is back on WTMJ.
It's got a beautiful beat. It's a beautiful noise.
I do like this song. I'll tell you, it's not a Neil Diamond song that I was particularly familiar with. The song that I find hilarious by Neil Diamond is called I Am the Lion. Look it up. I think you'll be entertained. But good gosh, he's had so many songs. Red, Red Wine, I'm a Believer. Like, if you think about how many songs he has written, well, the music is the basis of A Beautiful Noise, the musical, which opens tonight at the Marcus Performing Arts Center, runs through Sunday. So if you're on your way, have a blast. I look forward to your reviews. I think I want to get there. I'm going to see if I can make it there before Sunday to see A Beautiful Noise. And it does cover the life of Neil Diamond, and he was involved in the whole storyline. So I think it's going to be a good show. And I've been asking you, because you know I like to do the song you need to hear about 6:45 during What's on Tap. So what Neil Diamond song qualifies as the song you need to hear? The WTMJ Siding Unlimited talk and text line, 855-616-1620, taking your suggestions. And so far, can you guess what is in the lead? Sweet Caroline. The first Sweet Caroline text I got was, by the way, by a woman named Caroline. So you can understand why she'd want that. Also, Barbara in Fox Point seconds the Sweet Caroline. Other suggestions? Heartlight, another good one. You Don't Bring Me Flowers. And Forever in Blue Jeans is what Peter wants to hear. That's got the same vibe as A Beautiful Noise. So I can roll with any of those, but got about 5 or 10 more minutes taking your suggestions. What Neil Diamond song should be the song you need to hear tonight? Siding Unlimited, WTMJ talk and text line, 855-616-1620. That's 855-616-1620. Who is the Lego lover in your life? People of all ages love Legos. Now, when I have Legos, I just stack them in a little stack. I'm like, look, I made a column. I am not the amateur architect that brings out in a lot of people who play with Legos. I am the one who just steps on them and says, ow, and watches other people enjoy them. I can see as an adult, it's kind of meditative. And as a kid, it's full on creative. So if you love Legos and you love architecture and you love Milwaukee, you could snap together a Calatrava edition of the Milwaukee Art Museum. For just $1, you can get the directions. And here's how. A guy named Todd Elliott, former Milwaukee resident, submitted a design in this Bricklink Designer Showcase series and was one of the 5 finalists and got 10,000 votes for a Lego version of the Milwaukee Art Museum, but still didn't make the cut. But he was like, you know what? It's such a cool building, and I'm so proud of it. You know what? I'll make it available to anybody who really wants to snap this together. If Lego's not going to make it into the set, that's okay. I kind of reverse engineered it to the best of my ability and built it in real life. And he really worked on this to figure out how to do it, because you got to think the wings of the Calatrava, that has to be, it's kind of defies gravity. That's why it's so miraculous to see in real life. So bless Mr. Elliott, but he figured it out and he put together the instructions on what's the website Rebrickable.com. That's the website where you can find his $1 instructions on how to snap together your own Lego version of the Calatrava extension of the Milwaukee Art Museum. And Elliot even says the best part is all the parts are currently available through Lego's Pick a Brick service, because, these are very particular. That'd be really frustrating. He's like, well, I don't have that special Lego. You can get all the necessary bricks. And he writes in his message on Rebrickable, have fun. And he also notes that the reason he is charging $1, it's the minimum cost possible for the design instructions, simply to discourage certain foreign websites from taking the design. Well, bless his heart. It's sad you have to think about that, but good for him. So I think that's really cool. Look it up on Rebrickable if you are a Lego lover or have one in your life and want to create the Milwaukee Art Museum. He will be submitting fresh designs for the next competition, so we all wish Mr. Elliott good luck. Hey, credit where credit's due. Who do you think deserves an award in our local art scene? How to nominate someone you think is worthy, maybe even yourself. Next on What's on Tap.
She's different and special and loaded with personality.
And there's one more thing, but you can't explain it in words. She's the one.
She's the one.
The one. You know it.
Your friends know it.
The whole world knows it.
We curated a special selection of engagement rings for her.
Can you guess what we call it?
We call it the One Collection by Kessler's.
Because these engagement rings are different.
And special.
And loaded with personality.
And one more thing. but you can't explain it in words.
Engagement rings in the One collection start at just $725.
But some of them are more.
A lot more.
But we've got you covered.
First, we have 12 months financing at 0%. Or,
second, we have 36 months financing at 9.99%, both with approved credit.
Third, we have second chance financing if you need someone to give you a second chance.
And don't forget the Kessler's warranty.
The strongest warranty of any jewelry store in the world.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
If you've ever worried about your heart, if you've ever loved someone with heart disease, if you've ever wondered if you're the one at risk, let's remind ourselves that we are not powerless. Because at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, we're pushing to outsmart heart and vascular disease by working with you personally to understand your history, assess your risks, and guide you to heart strength. By digging deep with tireless research and offering access to leading-edge clinical trials. And for the most serious conditions, including heart failure, heart valve disease, arrhythmias, and vascular diseases, we provide renowned expertise and the most advanced life-saving procedures you expect from academic medicine. So let's get out in front of heart disease. Let's outsmart it. Let's keep pushing so that every one of us can outrun it and embrace every beautiful day life in Wisconsin has to offer. To learn more about our nationally renowned heart and vascular care, visit froedtert.com/heart.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Homebuyer Helper Brian Wickert. One of our senior loan consultants recently helped their first-time homebuyer client win over 13 other offers. Of course, it was a team effort with their buyer's agent, and it centered around helping our clients understand what little difference there was to their monthly payment to offer over the asking price. And again, what little difference it would make to give the sellers peace of mind that they'd still buy even if the appraisal came in up to $20,000 short. But that's not all. Our consultant also texted and called the listing agent to reinforce how well qualified our buyers were and that they could, in fact, still close even if the appraisal came in low. Your AccuNet consultant will help you understand your options so you can decide how aggressive you want to be. Then we do everything possible to help you win. Don't let someone else end up sleeping in your dream home. Know your options and get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Welcome back to What's on Tap on WTMJ.
I'm Sandy Max. Thanks for hanging out with me on What's on Tap, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class. Discover more at visitmilwaukee.org. We celebrate culture and creativity in Wisconsin and around the world on this show. And here in Wisconsin, is there somebody you think, particularly in Milwaukee, that is making a difference, a positive impact in our culture and creativity here in our city? Well, the City of Milwaukee Arts Board is accepting nominations through April 2nd, so still some time, from people like us, just out here in the public, for the Mildred L. Harpole Artist of the Year Award and the Friends of the Arts Award. And recipients, as ever, with an award represent excellence and exceptional service in Milwaukee's arts community. And nominees for the Mildred L. Harpole Artist of the Year, this is good criteria, should have an artistic practice that aligns with the Milwaukee Arts Board purpose, which is promote the development, support, and enjoyment of the arts in this city, promote cultural diversity in the artistic life of the city, and also promote the formation and growth of artistic projects or programs that are administered by and responsive to the needs of the city's communities that have been historically underrepresented or underserved based on race, ethnicity, age, religion, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, socioeconomic status, geography, or citizenship status. So basically very open-minded and serving the community. And this Mildred L. Harpole Artist of the Year Award is open to City of Milwaukee residents who've been working as an artist in the City of Milwaukee over the past 2 years. You can be an individual artist, or think music. You can be a band or a collective, and you can be in a variety of disciplines, including arts education, culinary arts, dance, design, film and media arts, folk and traditional arts, literary arts, museums, music, musical theater, opera, presenting and multidisciplinary works, also theater and visual arts. And each recipient of the Mildred L. Harpole Artist of the Year Award gets a $1,500 cash award. So think about who it is in your cultural circle that you think is deserving. You can nominate online at milwaukee.gov MAB for the for Milwaukee Arts Board. And then the other award is Friends of the Arts Award, and that is given out to individuals often behind the scenes. And for the Friends of the Arts Award, you don't have to be a City of Milwaukee resident. You just have to demonstrate exemplary support of Milwaukee's arts community through one of these following requirements: mentoring or teaching creatives or youth in Milwaukee, or supporting arts locally through philanthropy or advocacy, or building community around the arts in Milwaukee. And these Friends of the Arts Awards can be individuals or organizations or businesses. The only kink here is you can't nominate yourself for the Friends of the Arts Award, but a nomination can be made posthumously. So it's nice to recognize those who, are really doing what they can to make sure the arts thrive in our city in particular. That is where you want to go, milwaukee.gov/MAB. And that is, the deadline is April 2nd. So browse there and maybe see who you think is worthy and deserving. Give it a mull and then nominate. And since the musical A Beautiful Noise, all about Neil Diamond's life and music, is in Milwaukee, opening night tonight through Sunday at the Marcus Performing Arts Center, I've asked you, which Neil Diamond song is the song you need to hear tonight? WTMJ fans have been texting in, suggesting those Neil Diamond tunes. I'm tallying and tabulating. You will hear which one is the song you need to hear next on What's on Tap.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know, that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. We have talked with a number of new clients who told us the same story. They had a tax situation and went with one of those national firms with the TV and radio ads. They guarantee they can settle your tax owed for pennies on the dollar. They take a $10,000 fee up front, and then you never hear from them again. We are a local firm and just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get garnished, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. Make the right choice and call 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a plan to solve your situation right now. It will not go away if you bury your head in the sand. Call now, 844-222-1192, or visit rightchoicetax.us.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Max on WTMJ. And now, feast your ears. This is the song you need to hear.
Most blokes are going to be playing at 10. These go to 11.
Happy opening night to the cast and crew of the musical A Beautiful Noise at the Marcus Performing Arts Center. Goes through Sunday. and it's a musical all based on the life of Neil Diamond, and he participated in the creation of it and featuring the music of Neil Diamond to tell the story of his life as he talks to his therapist and reflects back on the different chapters of his life. And thanks to all of the WTMJ fans who have used that Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620 to make their basically song request for what Neil Diamond song is the song you need to hear tonight. It was a tie, and I'm the tiebreaker. I'll be completely honest. Sweet Caroline is the song you need to hear. You can bum along. And fun fact, Neil Diamond, the song was about his wife at the time named Marcia, but he couldn't get Marcia to be a 3-syllable name. So you can sing Sweet Marcia if you'd like. But this is Sweet Caroline, the song you need to hear on What's on Tap.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Hand, touching hand, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never was, but now I look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, hurting runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you? Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never would. Oh, no, Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. Sweet Caroline, I believe they never could. Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, the song you need to hear tonight in honor of A Beautiful Noise, the musical that is opening tonight at the Marcus Performing Arts Center, and it's all about Neil Diamond's life. Sweet Caroline is the song that WTMJ fans chose as the song you need to hear. I will tell you that Forever in Blue Jeans was hot on the heels, and both those songs you can hear in the musical, along with, gosh, it's a lot of songs by Neil Diamond. He wrote a lot of songs, but I Am, I Said, Shiloh, America, You Don't Bring Me Flowers, Thank the Lord for the Nighttime. That's one I didn't remember. Forever in Blue Jeans, Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show, Sweet Caroline, Love on the Rocks, September Morn, Song Sung Blue, Crackling Rosie. Honestly, these are all the songs that are in A Beautiful Noise, Red, Red Wine, Kentucky Woman. Look Out, Here Comes Tomorrow. I know the Monkees covered that song. I didn't realize that was also a song that he had written other than I'm a Believer. And A Beautiful Noise, of course, you will hear in the show. So that is at the Marcus Performing Arts Center through Sunday. I hope that song put a smile on your face and you got to bum along. We're going to talk about Happy Tolkien Reading Day next on What's on Tap.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Brew City is ready to celebrate the draft's return to Wisconsin. Milwaukee Tailgate Week, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook, April 24th through the 26th. It features a variety of gridiron activations for all ages, steeped in Milwaukee's iconic sports history, its attractions, brews, pubs, restaurants, and venues. The festivities culminate on Saturday, April 26th with Jordy Nelson's Milwaukee Tailgate with Inside the Huddle Live. Buy your tickets now for only $10 and learn more at visitmilwaukee.org/tailgate.
The most common reason pain sufferers come to us is to be able to perform their daily tasks without suffering through them. Grandparents who want to be able to take their grandkids on walks and to the park. Or those that just want to be able to get out of their vehicle with more ease than pain. Rejuvenex pain treatments can help. And the sooner you get to calming down that pain, the better it will be. These are powerful, FDA-approved pain treatments precisely administered with an extremely small needle to get to the root of your pain. And before you know it, you'll feel the anti-inflammatory power of Toradol and the cushioning relief of hyaluronic acid. Positive patient results are regularities, not rarities. And we do this conveniently in office, so it's very easy for you. And we're in network with most insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, which could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Hi folks, this is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. With spring in the air, a young man's fancy turns to ceiling fans. And at BBC, he'll see all the best quality fans and their newest styles. The new fan electronics provide a great method of moving air, and with LED lights, they use less electricity than ever. We have fans in all sizes, from 24 to 96 inches wide, and their motors are warranted for life. At BBC, we advise you on the right fan for your needs, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and on Saturday 10 to 4 and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue across from Sobelman's and Bachman Furniture, all near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live is back. March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis Adetokunpo for a live show that's sure to entertain like none other. Last year, it was a surprise appearance from ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. You never know what Thanasis has planned for 2025. Get your tickets to Thanalysis Live right now. Visit ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter for event and ticket info. It's Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live, presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Carbless. Also supported by the Prisoner Wine Company and McDonald's.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Sean Brunda. At 7 o'clock, it is currently 38 degrees. Tonight, it's mostly clear, frosty with a low of 28 degrees. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 47 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Sean Brunda. Pleading not guilty after throwing a baby off a second-story balcony, 31-year-old Jamin Island from Milwaukee is charged with felony child abuse and battery. Court records show that Island was arguing with his wife Star about why the 1-year-old was crying, which led to a physical fight where he grabbed the child by the neck and threw the baby off the balcony 16 feet to the ground. The baby only suffered cuts and bruises in the fall. Cash bond is set at $15,000. Island is due back in court on April 17th. And Decision Wisconsin today marks 1 week until the spring election. In-person absentee voting is underway, with Thursday being the last day to request an absentee ballot. You can register to vote in person at your local clerk's office until Friday or at your polling place on Election Day. Just bring a photo ID and proof of residency. Election Day is a Tuesday, April 1st. President Trump has signed an executive order that will upend the voting process. CBS News correspondent Matt Piper explains.
The order says states must require proof of citizenship in federal elections. It's a mandate that could prevent millions of Americans from voting, as about 21 million U.S. citizens do not have proof of citizenship readily available. The president also demanded that all ballots be received by Election Day and sought to withhold federal election funding from states that do not comply. Legal experts say Trump does not have the authority to do this, that it's up to states, and that lawsuits are sure to follow.
There are also concerns that married women who have changed their names will encounter trouble when trying to register because their birth certificates list their maiden names. Spending nearly 2 years in prison for paying health care kickbacks. Court records show Justin Hansen from River Hills and his business partner spent 3 years paying $400,000 in kickbacks to a substance abuse clinic for medical test referrals performed at their Milwaukee area lab. Their lab ultimately received over $2 million from Medicare and Medicaid for the unnecessary tests. Hansen will have to pay that money back, as well as a $75,000 fine. Tariffs have caused Canadians to boycott American products and travel destinations. Canadian economist Todd Hirsch tells WTMJ's Political Power Hour.
But Americans also purchase a lot from Canada. Resources like oil and gas, things like lumber, things like steel and aluminum. And those things are going to cost more for American consumers.
President Trump confirmed no exemptions for steel and aluminum tariffs, with more coming April 2nd. And the state of Wisconsin will be represented during Masters Week at the annual drive, chip, and putt competition.
15-year-old Jared Romano recalls his first round of golf at the age of 8.
It was actually at Turtle Greens, this par 3 course.
From a par 3 course in Beloit to Augusta National in 7 years.
Just so surreal. I cannot believe it.
Romano will represent Wisconsin and the Midwest region, competing against 9 others in his age group.
You'll be actually hitting 2 drives, 2 chips, and 2 putts.
Just 6 shots, right? That's all you get?
Yep, that's all you get.
The competition will be televised on the Golf Channel April 6th. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
15-year-old Abigail Herrickson from DeForest is also among 80 qualifiers for the event. Sports, traffic, weather, next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 7:03.
Now here's a way to bring new life to your bathrooms. And the best part about it is that it's pretty affordable too. Because remember, home improvements don't always have to be expensive. You just have to think a little outside the box. Give your dated bathroom mirrors instant designer style by having us wrap them in custom frames. Talk about an immediate upgrade. Dark wood frame mirrors can add a rich new look to your bathroom, along with a warm, cozy feel. Crisp white mirror frames will brighten and refresh your bathroom's focal point, and custom metal mirror frames will bring a touch of elegance and class. So don't settle for bare mirrors, because the variety of custom mirror frame styles we can help you choose from will go as far as your style and imagination will take it. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. So he said to me, "Boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders." And I said, "You betcha." And he said, "Do you mind if I cherry pick?" And I said, "Feel free. They're all beautiful and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want." Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Spring training is over. The Brewers finished the Cactus League season with a record of 16-14. Next stop, New York for most of them.
7 of our top 13 pitchers will not be going to New York. Well, there's 9 pitchers hurt, and maybe 2 of them will not be back for the season. but the other 7 will be back at some point, and that's what's crucial for us.
That's Brewers manager Pat Murphy. The regular season begins Thursday against the Yankees. And the Bucks wrap up a 5-game road trip Wednesday night in Denver against the Nuggets. The Bucks begin the day in 5th place in the Eastern Conference playoff race with 11 games left to play. Take a look at your roads with your WTMJ Johnson Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. We got one incident on the road at I-43 south of the ramp from Wisconsin Avenue. Right shoulder is blocked due to a crash. And that roads are looking pretty clear across the Milwaukee area. Time for your WTMJ 5-day forecast. That's going to be mostly clear with some frost expected and a low of 28 degrees. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 47 degrees. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of morning showers and a high of 54 degrees. Friday, we'll get a chance of showers and storms with a high of 65 degrees. And Saturday, we'll get a chance of showers and storms with a high of 56 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 44. In Green Bay, it's 38. In Madison, it's 44. And in Milwaukee, it's 38 degrees. I'm Sean Brenda, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 7:07.
Your need-to-know cultural snapshot of Wisconsin and beyond. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. A deep dive into all things intriguing, riveting, and entertaining. Now, here's your host, Sandy Max.
Good evening. Thank you very much for hanging out with me on this supersized episode of What's on Tap, here with you till 9 o'clock. And in our first hour, we celebrated the birthday of Captain James Lovell, the astronaut, street named after him in downtown Milwaukee. And so fun to celebrate that Wisconsin connection and another worldly and otherworldly connection to Wisconsin. It is Tolkien Reading Day, annually on March 25th by the Tolkien Society. And Marquette University houses Tolkien manuscripts, a very special accomplishment, a pride point at Marquette. And to celebrate Tolkien Reading Day, I have invited from Marquette University, Dr. Bill Fliss. Hello, Bill.
Hello. It's nice to be with you.
Nice to be with you. And what is your role with the Tolkien manuscripts?
I am the Tolkien archivist at Marquette. So one of my roles is to curate the collection of manuscripts that we have from Professor Tolkien.
Wow. And so I have so many questions. And also joining us is Professor Jerry Canavan. Jerry, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us.
And you teach classes about Tolkien literature.
Every 2 years, I teach a class devoted to his work. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And first and foremost, gentlemen, what's the proper pronunciation of this author's last name?
Well, I've always heard, I think he might have mentioned in a letter that it's Tolkien is how he would pronounce it.
Okay. And Professor?
I say Tolkien because I've been saying it since I was 4th grade, and I can't get past it.
You say since 4th grade. It's funny you say that. I was trying to remember. I read The Hobbit in 3rd grade. That was my first exposure, and it was before there were films. It was before there was TV. But I'm really curious. Not only are you the chair of the English department, a professor of 20th and 21st century literature, Professor Canavan, but you're the immediate past president of what organization?
The Science Fiction Research Association.
That's incredible.
It's a good group. We a group of people internationally studying science fiction, related genres, utopias, dystopias.
And what is the mission of the Science Fiction Research Association?
It's to advance the study of science fiction and kind of insist upon its importance in contemporary culture, right? A lot of us would say that everything is science fiction, at least a little bit.
Interesting. So what are the classes? You mentioned you teach every 2 years. What's the syllabus? What's the focus of the study at Marquette on your Tolkien class?
So we read what's called the Legendarium. We start with The Hobbit. We read Lord of the Rings. And then at the very end of the semester, we read the Silmarillion. I help them a lot with that one because that's famously difficult. But we do get through it. By that time, they're kind of ready for it. Along the way, we read a lot of little bits and pieces from his letters, from some of his essays. We read a little bit of his other works, and we get to pop into the archive to see some of his handwriting and works in progress as he edited it. So
that is magical to be able to not just read the books, but also see how Tolkien created them with these actual manuscripts and handwriting. And Dr. Bill Fliss, you just mentioned you're the archivist for the manuscripts. So what's a typical day? And how many manuscripts are you maintaining?
Well, I'm the manuscripts archivist, and so I've got over 100 collections I'm responsible for, but the Tolkien collection is, I think, the biggest fish in the pond. It takes up the most of my time. There's a relentless interest in Tolkien, in the collection. So my typical day is working on various projects related to the collection, helping researchers work in the collection, and answering a lot of emails that come my way, all things Tolkien.
What is the level of interest that you get from around the world in the Tolkien manuscripts?
Well, the Marquette does draw researchers from around the world who come to study the manuscripts. So we do have an international clientele. The majority of people who come are from the United States. Will stop by and study the manuscripts. We get a lot of visitors also, foot traffic that comes through. People wanting to make some sort of connection with the manuscripts. We're almost like a pilgrimage site for Tolkien fans that pass through Milwaukee.
It makes sense. And, now that the films are so popular, was Peter Jackson inquiring about manuscripts, the director of these films?
So I came to Marquette in 2003, so that was the year that the last film, Return of the King, came out in the theater. So I wasn't there in the lead up to those films that Peter Jackson made. But I was told that none of, and it's a common question, and the answer is none of the filmmakers that I'm aware of came to Marquette to do research. Although if you're familiar with those movies, they have, at least the DVD versions, they have like all these extra, extra features at the end. And some of the talking heads that they interview, I believe, made visits to Marquette for their own research. So maybe indirectly, you could say the filmmakers were there.
And Professor Canavan, what are some of the most delightful manuscripts for your students that they get to see? Is there one in particular or several?
There's a few. I think they are really delighted by some of his jottings about the original ending of The Hobbit and what he thought might happen before he kind of got there. He has this kind of really interesting little fragment imagining Bilbo himself kind of slaying the dragon, and this eruption of blood that Bilbo floats down on a shield, right? In this
golden bowl.
Right, in this field of lava. We always get to look at the original version of Gollum, who was completely different in the first version of The Hobbit, and he rewrote the chapter for subsequent publication. And so we get to kind of do some interesting comparison about how he kind of retconned his own story.
How did Gollum originate?
Originally, he was just a kind of creature Bilbo met along the way. Bilbo finds the ring. He and Gollum have the riddle game, and Gollum intends to give Bilbo the ring as the prize, but since he can't find it, he lets him out instead, and they kind of part as friends. And so you see it in the first pages of Lord of the Rings where he explains that, well, this is Bilbo already corrupted by the ring and lying to everybody and kind of crafting this false story. And so now in this new translation, we're able to see what really happened. It's a really fun moment that is mostly lost to time. It's very hard to find the original text of The Hobbit from 1937.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk with Dr. Bill Fliss, who is the manuscripts archivist at Marquette, to find out how in the world these Tolkien manuscripts wound up here in Milwaukee with Marquette, and talk more. If you have any questions for either Dr. Bill Fliss or Professor Jerry Canavan from Marquette University about Tolkien on Tolkien Reading Day, use that Citing Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. Stay with us on What's on Tap.
Warmer temps are on their way, which means it's time for the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase on WTMJ. I love this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informative. Get all the tips, the tricks, and the best practices to improve your home with our trusted partners, including J&J Contractors and Bruce's team at Realty Executives. It's the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase. Going to be great. It's only here on WTMJ.
Hey, I'm Sandy Max of WTMJ. Grab your passport and get ready to Prost with me across Europe. Join me in September for a 10-day beer and brewery tour through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. We get to explore while tasting beers in private breweries in Munich and visiting legendary beer halls like Hofbrauhaus there. We're going to go to the fairy tale Neuschwanstein Castle. Stroll through Salzburg. Austria's oldest breweries are right there, including Stiegel and Augustiner Brau Klostermund. We will enjoy sipping there. Vienna has a vibrant craft beer scene and beautiful buildings and a rich history on the Ringerstrasse to stroll in Vienna. And then we will end our tour in Prague in the Czech Republic. Picturesque streets, the Charles Bridge, absolutely beautiful there, the city of 1,000 spires, and we'll visit the famous Budweiser Budvar Brewery. A perfect blend of culture, history, and Europe's finest brews. Come taste along with me. Limited spots available, but don't miss out. So email me, sandy@wtmj.com, SANDY@wtmj.com. Email me, and I'll send you that brochure. Let's travel together.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
That is the voice of Gandalf, Lord of the Rings character in a world created by author J.R.R. Tolkien. And today is Tolkien Reading Day, and we're celebrating. Every March 25th is. So now that you know, circle this on your calendar and make plans to celebrate. Maybe stop by Marquette University, because Marquette University is the home of Tolkien manuscripts. And here to share more information is Dr. Bill Fliss, who is the manuscript archivist at Marquette. And so they are under his protection. And also Professor Jerry Canavan, who is, among other things, the immediate past president of the Science Fiction Research Association, but also chair of the English department at Marquette and professor of 20th and 21st century literature. And you even teach a class on Tolkien every other year. How quickly does your class get booked up?
It goes fast. I'm not on. It goes very fast, and it's always interesting to see how devoted they are to Tolkien. And, midway through the semester, people start to kind of roll up their sleeves, and I see their Tolkien tattoos. I had a student bring a replica Narsil of Aragorn's giant sword to class one time, which was really cool to see. The police department wasn't super happy with us, but it was worth it.
Well, it speaks to how devoted fans are over all these generations. And Dr. Fliss, how in the world did Marquette wind up with this treasured collection of Tolkien manuscripts?
It's a remarkable story. Tolkien was English. He never set foot in the United States in his lifetime. So it's remarkable that these manuscripts are here in Milwaukee, of all places. And it's because of the vision of a man named William Reedy, who was the director of Marquette's new library. He was hired in 1956 when Marquette had a brand new library. And he was tasked with stocking it with books and manuscripts. He was Welsh, and he had read The Hobbit. And The Lord of the Rings had just come out in the United States just prior to his being hired. And so he got it into his head that he wanted to collect these manuscripts for Marquette. And I think part of the reason, a big reason, was because he had decided that one of the things he would collect are the papers of Catholic authors. And Marquette's a Catholic Jesuit university. And so that's why he approached Professor Tolkien, hiring a friend of his to serve as Marquette's agent. And it was a situation where it pays to be the first to ask. Nobody else had asked Tolkien for the sale of his manuscripts. He thought about it, and he decided to go forward and sell not all of his manuscripts, but very significant manuscripts, in particular the manuscripts for The Hobbit and for The Lord of the Rings, which are his two most famous works.
I would say those are the signature stories that almost
Indeed.
everyone knows, and not just because of the movies, but I feel like those are always the titles that people bring up. What are some of the most intimate parts of those manuscripts? Because a manuscript really is handwritten, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of define manuscript to include typescripts as well. Although a lot of Tolkien typescripts have handwriting on them, he was a fanatical reviser, so he was constantly changing things. It's an enormous collection. So The Lord of the Rings is a 1,200-page book for those people who have soldiered through it, but there are over 9,000 pages of material at Marquette related to The Lord of the Rings. And so I think some of the most interesting or most intimate are the plot notes that he would write to himself. He was one of these writers for whom thinking and writing went together. He would think things through by writing them out. And because he saved so much of the paper that he wrote on, we can almost reconstruct his thought process in some cases as he's constructing the story.
That's fascinating. And Professor Canavan, that must be fascinating for you as a teacher to be able to teach students who also want to write or be inspired by this, to actually follow that thought process.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, you can see he's writing on the back of students' papers, right? He's writing on the back of, he was a spotter during the war, so on the back of like air raid, like reports and things like this, right? He's doodling sometimes. He's like drawing from the books what he sees in his visions, essentially, right? On the backs of some of these papers and things like that. You've got a paper, I don't know, blow up your spot, but you've got a piece of paper that you think has his tears on it, right? This incredibly moving moment from the book that you've looked at it enough and it's just like, I think these are his tear stains.
Yeah, there's a manuscript where in a letter he wrote to his Aunt Jane, he said that he wept at a particular I think the way he phrased it was he blotted the paper with his tears at one particular point in the story towards the end of the Lord of the Rings in a chapter called The Field of Cormallen. And when I heard that, I went and I looked at the very first draft of that chapter, and sure enough, at the exact spot where he said he wept, there are these big splotches on the paper. So as far as I'm concerned, that's as close to a slam dunk as you can get. And I think that is evidence of him weeping there.
With your detective work and with we talk about the word intimate, it's like you have intimate knowledge. You've spent so much time with these 9,000 pages and just this collection of manuscripts that you have at Marquette. I mean, that is absolutely fascinating. And why do you think Tolkien resonates with generations of fans? Because they're not even up close to the drawings and the writings that you are. I can understand why you get, completely sucked in and want to find out more, but just people picking up a book and reading and brought into this world.
Well, I have an opportunity to speak to a lot of Tolkien fans. We also document the fandom that's built up around Tolkien, and I have a collection of oral histories that I've done with Tolkien fans and am continuing to do.
Tell me about that. That's a wonderful process.
Yeah, I've collected over 1,300 brief interviews with Tolkien fans from the majority from the United States, but from 40 other countries as well. And so I do see certain patterns in the interviews. And if you ask, like, why are people drawn to this book? And it's for a variety of reasons. He is a consummate world builder. Many people are drawn to that. The language of the book. He invented his own languages. There are a lot of linguists who are interested in that and have been inspired by it. The characters are unforgettable, and the bonds of friendship and between the characters resonate with many people. There's a lot of virtue in the story.
I love that you're preserving history to another. You're already preserving the manuscripts and making sure these treasures are safe at Marquette, but to know that you've also gone to this level to connect with fans and understand the literature even deeper, that's absolutely fascinating. Well done, Dr. Fliss.
Well, thank you.
That warms my heart. And has there been anything surprising? Have you heard some of these, Professor Canavan?
I'm in it. When the Science Fiction Research Association had its conference at Marquette, a lot of them signed up for it too. So we're part of the horde.
That is great. What is an essential for a newcomer? So people who are listening going, okay, I feel like I've missed out. Everybody, talks about Lord of the Rings. Like, each of you, what is a suggestion for a book or a poem or a writing of J.R.R. Tolkien as a newcomer?
I mean, you just got to start with The Hobbit and go, right? I mean, it's so it is a magical experience. I think everything you said is so true. He was somebody who had a lot of pain in his own life and experienced very difficult times, both personally and internationally, and wrote this kind of miraculous story about hope and consolation that I think that's why it speaks to people. My students right now are younger than the movies, believe it or not, right? Only my very oldest seniors were 1 year old when Return of the King came out, but they've been watching it since they were children. It just speaks to everybody in this really fascinating way. It's timeless.
Wow. All right. I will wrap up with you. I could talk to you for another hour, but thank you so much for celebrating Tolkien Reading Day with me and Dr. Bill Fliss and also Professor Jerry Canavan from Marquette University. Last question is, how can we see the manuscripts?
Well, we keep a display up year-round in our reading room at the Rayner Library of some reproductions from the manuscript collection, and that's available for people to view when the archives is open, the reading room, which is Monday through Friday between 9 and 4:30. These are just reproductions. The originals, because they're so valuable, we do not bring them out for private showings or display them, except perhaps every few years in a museum exhibition or something like that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting with you again next Tolkien Reading Day, if not sooner. Thank you very, very much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Stay with us on What's on Tap.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality. No gimmick. You'll get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky. All you have to do is purchase a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace. And this heat pump is not only going to give you 2 sources of heat and a backup, but also the heat pump will act as an AC system to cool your home as well. It's extremely efficient. I have a heat pump in my own home, and this I know. Your heat pump will cut your energy bills substantially. You'll be getting a top-of-the-line heat pump system and a free furnace. And you'll save thousands plus qualifying government incentives. So now, through March 31st, you'll get a heck of a deal from Quality. This is the only time of the year we can do this. So call Quality, and let's get you taken care of. Get your free furnace and upgrade your home's HVAC system to absolute max efficiency. Buy a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace through March 31st.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
I'm Sandy Max with WTMJ, here to tell you about incredible career opportunities with my friends at 3 Pillars Senior Living Communities in Dousman. 3 Pillars, they are the #1 senior living community in Wisconsin, and it's a certified great place to work. They're hiring resident assistants and caregivers, with some starting at $20 per hour, and you could get more based on experience and shifts. The best part, you will make a difference in the lives of others every day at 3 Pillars. Go to 3pillars.org and click the Careers tab to learn more.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers, where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
The Lifetime Door Free Garage Door Contest is almost over. Time is running out to win a brand new garage door from Lifetime Door. Absolutely free. This contest ends March 31st. Don't miss the chance to win a stunning, high-quality garage door that will boost your home's curb appeal and value. Entering is easy. Text GARAGE to the WTMJ Talk and Text line, or just go to WTMJ.com and the entry form is on the very front page. It's just that simple. For contest rules, visit our website, WTMJ.com.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max is back on WTMJ.
Happy Tolkien Reading Day to you. Just spent time with Marquette University Dr. Bill Fliss and Professor Jerry Canavan talking all about the manuscripts from J.R.R. Tolkien there at the university. You can catch up on the podcast. And spring break, if you're looking for something to do with the young ones, a solid suggestion at one of our downtown museums is next on What's on Tap. Right now from the WTMJ Breaking News Center, here is Sean Brinda.
Thanks, Sandy. Spending nearly 2 years in prison for paying healthcare kickbacks. Court records showed Justin Hansen from River Hills and his business partners spent 3 years paying $400,000 in kickbacks to a substance abuse clinic for medical test referrals performed at their Milwaukee area lab. Their lab ultimately received over $2 million from Medicare and Medicaid for the unnecessary tests. Hansen will have to pay that money back, as well as a $75,000 fine. And a revival could be brewing in Milwaukee's Walker's Point neighborhood. Sarah and Mike Halstead are planning to reopen Mobcraft Brewing 4 months after Wisconsin's first crowdsourced brewery shut its doors. The couple say an opening date is dependent on receiving all the needed approvals, but a target has been set for this May. And the Wisconsin Department of Transportation announces its third and final public involvement meeting for the Reimagining Wisconsin Route 175 study. The study team will share the latest alternatives based on input from stakeholders and the public. A final report will be prepared to document the analysis conducted and findings. And the open house style meeting will be held on an evening of April 2nd at the Washington Park Senior Center. Take a look at your roads with your WTMJ Johnson Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. We don't have many incidents out on the road at this time, so it should be a smooth drive tonight, Milwaukee. Time for your WTMJ 5-day forecast. It's going to be mostly clear with some frost expected later in the evening with a low of 28 degrees. Wednesday, partly cloudy with a high of 47 degrees. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers in the morning with a high of 54 degrees. Friday, a chance of showers and storms with a high of 65 degrees, leading into Saturday, which will have a chance of showers and storms with a high of 56 degrees. Right now in Eau Claire, it's 46 degrees. In Palmyra, it's 45 degrees. Right here in Milwaukee, it's 37 degrees. I'm Sean Brinda, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 7:33.
So it's about time you spruced up your home. Nothing major. You're not looking to spend a ton, but you are looking for something that'll give your quarters a little upgrade. You know, there are a lot of things you can do with glass. Simply beveling your mirrors can do wonders. You can mill out your wood cabinet doors and replace the center with attractive glass inserts, or customize them with unique handcrafted artistry, or maybe a theme. You could even install a new glass shower door and add some real appeal to your bathroom. They're all pretty affordable home improvements, and Les's Glass Service has been helping homeowners like you for just about longer than anyone in town. You probably don't realize how affordably we can help you reach your home's full potential, but we do, and we can show you countless options. So if it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. At Creative Planning, we understand life is busy, and sometimes important things like retirement planning can fall to the wayside. So I'm here to remind you to take time to plan. A 1-hour complimentary consultation with our fiduciary advisors will help you get started on the path to your dream retirement. We will review your current financial situation, your goals and needs, and help you plan for life's what-ifs. Don't delay planning for your future any longer. And even if you already have a plan, a second opinion from our advisors can help determine if there are adjustments to make. Kowal Investment Group is now Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange. What's on Tap with Sandy Max is back on WTMJ.
It's spring break time for some folks, and if you are one of those people who's looking to entertain a student in your life that's on break, plenty to do around here. I would even say go to visitmilwaukee.org. Just take a look around there. Because remember, Museum Days back in January, they still have their Museum Days listings, and that's a good idea generator. And Milwaukee Public Museum is one of those participants in Museum Days, and they were the spotlight guest on Joshin' Around Milwaukee recently, and that is a new show here on WTMJ Saturdays at 1:30, hosted by two guys named Josh Albrecht. You can't make that up. One from Visit Milwaukee and one from the broadcasting world, was a producer. So Josh and Josh found out more about what the Milwaukee Public Museum, one of our treasured museums, about to do the evolution to the new space. But what MPM has in mind, Carly Summers and Madeline Anderson clued us in to some of the deals and exhibits happening during spring break.
We first want to talk about some of the programming that you guys have specifically coming up for spring break.
Yeah, so we will be open for spring break. I know some districts have varying spring breaks, but the majority have spring break the week of, I believe it's March 23rd through approximately the end of the month. So we're going to have our educators out on the exhibit floors beginning Monday, March 24th. Then we're closed Tuesdays, but then they'll be out again Wednesday and Thursday, and they'll be talking about spring topics, birds migrating back here to Wisconsin in the spring, butterflies. And then we have a really fun day planned for Saturday, March 29th, Creepy Crawly Day. It's the second annual Creepy Crawly Day, where we tell you not to be creeped out by bugs. And so anyway, we'll have educators and volunteers out on the exhibit floors just showcasing the wonderful world of bugs. We're going to have a lot of different stations about butterflies, moths. We have live bugs at the museum, so people can get up close to live bugs and even hold some of them. We have some really cool walking sticks and leaf bugs that are completely harmless that I think kids will really like to hold and get up close to. And we even have an edible bug station.
Ooh, you ready for that, Josh?
People eat insects.
Yeah, I know people do.
Yeah. Are we talking
Apparently,
like,
it's an amazing source of protein.
Yeah, are we talking crickets?
I think so.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Pill bugs?
Maybe cicadas. I don't know.
Slimy but satisfying. I've heard. Yes.
Yeah. And you really can try some for yourself. So
That's
I have
awesome.
never done it, but I kind of want to try.
I think a chocolate-covered cricket or something would be
Yeah,
fine.
we
You put
have
chocolate on it.
suckers.
It's fine.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
have
deep fry it,
lollipops with
cover it
some
in sugar, you know,
crickets.
then it's the same.
Wisconsin special. There's got to be like a cheese station, like
There you
cheese
go.
crickets.
There you go.
Nice pairing.
Yeah, of course.
Wisconsinify it.
Yeah. I love that too. And obviously, you mentioned the butterfly room.
Oh,
yep.
A staple.
Yeah, you have to do the butterfly room. It's such a fun experience. They're all flying around, landing on you. So many people probably love going to that every time they come.
Yep, and the vivarium is my favorite exhibit, definitely at the museum. So highly recommend it. And, it'll probably still be cold. You get kind of the tropical feel when you're in there. And one thing I just found out today is admission will be free for 4 and 5-year-olds. So usually it's 3 and under free, but it's 5 and under for spring break.
Oh, that's a great deal.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's
bring the whole family.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to find something to do. Make it the right thing to do. You like that?
I like that.
Yeah.
You guys can use that as your new slogan.
Yeah, I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't copyright that
Should have
before.
wrote that down.
Yeah. Dang it! I know I gotta work on that.
Josh Albrecht and Josh Albrecht having fun on Joshin' Around Milwaukee, their show on Saturdays at 1:30 with a great array of guests from all around Milwaukee and cluing us in to the deals at Milwaukee Public Museum during spring break. And no matter what the weather is, it's just nice to be around butterflies when they can land on your shoulders, and very meditative and peaceful. Nice space, one of the many nice spaces at Milwaukee Public Museum. And if you're sniffing around, looking for other inspiration, visit milwaukee.org. They still have their museum days listing up, and they have good events listings as you're looking for ways to entertain on a budget and maybe try something new that you haven't done in our city. And hundreds of beavers, mascots on Maine, and a comedy announcement, all coming up on What's on Tap. Keep it here on WTMJ.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When you want the best medical attention, you don't just go to anybody, you go to a specialist. The same should be true with your car or truck. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. When your vehicle needs service, take it to a specialist, an Adam member new car dealer. Adam dealers use factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians specially trained on the advanced technology on your vehicle. They have all the latest manufacturer service bulletins and will know if your issue is covered by an existing warranty or if there are any recalls. And despite what you might assume, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine maintenance and tires. Now, knowing all that, why would you even consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
For great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend. Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production. Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris celebrate the life and legacy of Junior Bridgman with Dr. Lloyd Walton and Paul Pressey. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores has been voted the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel's best in thrift. So to all who voted for us, thank you. And to those who haven't yet been here, there are so many items to explore. And at thrift store prices, you can find a really great deal. At the same time, you'll be helping us help others, sometimes folks right in your own neighborhood. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Welcome back to What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Oh, if that song makes you happy and makes you think of the sound of music, maybe you'd like to go to Salzburg and see some of the spaces that A Sound of Music was filmed. Well, you can do that. Join me on the European Brewery Tour in Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. So I told you yesterday on Munich Monday about some highlights that we'll be seeing in Munich, and Salzburg will be the second city that we visit on this 10-day trip in September. If you haven't already seen the brochure at WTMJ.com, just pop me an email, sandy@WTMJ.com, and I will be delighted to send you the brochure because it really is going to be special. It's a specially curated trip of breweries. Ancient breweries, modern breweries, beer halls that Steve Bertrand Travel has put together for us. I'm really excited. I have not been to Salzburg, where The Sound of Music had many locations for the film. Also, Mozart, born there. So if you love history and hops and heavenly views, then pack your bags. Salzburg, Austria is one of our 4 cities. Munich, Salzburg, Vienna, and Prague that we're going to see on this 10-day trip in September. And Mozart, it was his hometown in Salzburg. There are medieval fortresses. There's the Mirabell Palace, which is where you heard Do Re Mi. That is where one of the Sound of Music scenes was filmed there at Mirabell Palace by the big Pegasus fountain. You can pretend you're a Von Trapper and Well, you'd be a Von Trapper if you're part of the Von Trapp family, right? But you pretend you're part of the Von Trapp family and have fun seeing the stunning palaces. We're going to drink beer straight from wooden barrels at 400-year-old breweries. Join me for this magical mix. If you love music and mountains of mugs of beer, this is your trip. Salzburg is calling. And some of the other things, it looks like a storybook. If you look up pictures of Salzburg, the Hohensalzburg Fortress is up at the top. It looks like just what you expect in historic architecture. And there are church spires and cobblestone lanes. You will feel that spirit of Mozart around every corner because Salzburg is his hometown. The Mirabell Palace, the cathedral, the iconic horse fountain, just all those landmarks that you've seen either in documentaries or in books or movies. This is your chance to truly experience them. And we're going to stay in 4-star hotels. Everything is taken care of by Steve Bertrand Travel, which is great. It includes airfare, the 4-star hotels, breakfast, most meals, and all the admissions for our group, which won't be that big. It's going to be an intimate group. And so, every time we go to an attraction, it's like, oh, we're the special ones. We're going to walk right in. We don't have to stand in the line. So we'll be taken care of. I was able to travel with Steve Bertrand Travel a couple of years ago on my Beatles and Beyond tour in England, and it was just relaxing, wonderful. Everything is taken care of, and you have enough time to yourself if you want to take a different, excursion or just relax and sit at a cafe and people watch. However you want to do it, you can do it leisurely and make those memories. And in Salzburg, we're also going to visit the legendary Stiegl Brewery. It is Austria's largest private brewery for a tour and a beer tasting experience. And then we're also going to go to the Augustinerbrau Klostermoln. It's a 400-year-old monastery brewery. That's where we get to sip straight from wooden barrels in a cozy, authentic beer hall. And these are the recipes from the 1500s where they are very pure. Drink beer the way it was made centuries ago. We get to experience it. And you can even sip coffee at a charming cafe if you want to. But come join me for the timeless beauty, the medieval architecture, the mountain backdrops, the Baroque brilliance. From Mozart to the sound of music, it's going to just be vibrating with good vibes. And, of course, beer and Gemütlichkeit, that fancy German word for cozy vibes. Come see Salzburg with me. I'll send you that brochure. Book it now. Sandy at WTMJ.com, SANDY at WTMJ.com. History hops and harmonious music all in one stop. And that's just one of the 4 cities. So come join me. I'd love to travel with you. Events coming up this weekend and a comedy announcement and hundreds of beavers coming up on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Steve Scafidi is your guide through the world of politics.
One of the big questions, of course, in front of the Wisconsin Supreme Court is Act 10. What happens next?
I don't know what they're going to do. The court could bring it directly up. That issue was decided before I was ever Attorney General.
On the Political Power Hour.
I hesitate to make an absolute guarantee in any case on how I would rule on a recusal request because in my mind that is prejudging or predeciding an issue.
Weekday mornings from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
He told us to load 4 yards into his 8-foot bed, but we knew that 3 full, honestly measured yards were going to fill his truck bed to the rim. After we proved that, he told us the other guys have been telling him he's been getting 4 yards in there for years. Honest measurements and honest folks who just want to do you right. So you come back. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. We did the math. When you buy bagged mulch from the big guys, you pay $50 a yard. Why pay more for inferior mulch? When you buy from Erickson's, you'll get premium mulch for almost half the cost. And you'll see that even our economy mulch is better, for less than half the cost of bag mulch. And either choice is made with premium colorant that lasts longer. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
The fact is, without us, you'll pay more. When you buy advertising, unless you're seeking out every avenue that the chosen medium has to offer and negotiating with every entity to find out what the true floor is, there's no way you can know if you really did get your best deal. In fact, there's a big chance that you'll overpay. We've done all the legwork. And with a very high volume of consistent year-in and year-out billing, we've uncovered rates that we're sure will surprise you. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. The proof is in the pudding. Advertisers that hire us stick with us for years and years because they trust us, because we always promptly respond to customer needs, and because bottom line, we get results. Go to Anderson-Smith.com's Our Clients page to see who trusts us and check out a long list of real advertising success. Then hit the Contact Us button, email me, and I'll call you in short order. Because it's time we grew your business. Anderson-Smith.com.
Imagine all the things you dream of under one roof. You're thinking of eBay. Fashion, collectibles, car parts. It's all there. Go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Max on WTMJ.
And thank you for hanging out with me. What's on Tap is sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class. Discover more at visitmilwaukee.org. And so many things always happening in our city. Sometimes I just want to clone myself. But some of the events that jumped out at me, in case you're looking for something to do this week or this weekend, Adepticon. It's the world's premier wargaming convention. It kicks off tomorrow through Sunday at the Baird Center. And I know some really smart people because the war game usually involves a lot of history who really enjoy this kind of entertainment. And it started as a 100-person event celebrating the Warhammer 40,000 miniatures game. It's now one of the most popular war game miniatures conventions in the country. And it's right here in Milwaukee. So that is at the Baird Center, Adepticon, tomorrow through Sunday. And this is one of those things that's already crept up on us. I mentioned it when it was first announced. It's called Into the Wild, Present Music, and it's happening at the Jan Sayre Studio tomorrow and on Thursday. Jan Sayre Studio is right there on Prospect on the east side, and it's a celebration of contemporary music, including, I love that Andy Akiho's Copper Canvas composition is going to examine the number 29 from the periodic table of elements, all about copper. A really interesting way to explore that. Also, you know the Steppenwolf song, Born to be Wild. There's going to be a modern interpretation of that song, and then there's a tribute to illustrator Edward Gorey. If you ever saw Masterpiece Mystery, those black and white illustrations, that's the black and white animations. Those are the illustrations that Edward Gorey is known for, and it's called 26 Little Deaths, based on the Gashly Crumb Tinies, an alphabet book that Edward Gorey created. And you can hear it's kind of like a cabaret interpretation. So it's going to be a really interesting evening of modern music, present music's Into the Wild at Jan Sayre Studio tomorrow and Thursday. A reminder, and I got somebody on the Citing Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620 who texted in from 847 that my fiance and I are going to see Heart at Fiserv Forum. That's tomorrow night already. Heart celebrating 50 years together, and Cheap Trick opening that show at Fiserv Forum. That's going to be a great night of classic rock. And if you love classic rock, bring your cowbell to the Pabst Theater. Another band celebrating 5 years at the Pabst Theater on Thursday night. Blue Oyster Cult, which is going to just sound, oh yeah. Hopefully you're tapping along. That's going to be, I love that we've got such great, you can go see Heart on Wednesday and then Blue Oyster Cult at the Pabst Theater on Thursday. And if you love magic and entertaining, another performing group celebrating 50 years, Penn and Teller. If you told me they'd been performing together for 50 years, I would have said no. Maybe 30, but I'd have to rethink that. No, Penn and Teller, 50 years of magic at the Riverside Theater on Thursday. They started out busking on the streets of Philadelphia and have certainly evolved from there with their own TV shows. And I remember seeing Penn and Teller in Chicago at the Chicago Theater. This was my first time I lived in Chicago, so it would have been in the 90s, but it was when Teller never, ever, ever spoke. And they did this illusion where Penn Jillette, who is like 6'9", he was inside a barrel. And it was all with all these pipes jabbed in on all sides. So there's like no way he could possibly be in there. So they said, okay, we're going to take a pause in the show and you can come walk up here on stage and see he's really in here. So I did. And Teller was standing there at the end of the stage and I was like, this can't really be real. And he said, oh, it is. And I was like, oh my God, I got to tell her to speak to me. Oh my God. So then I walk up and I look in the barrel, literally stand directly over it at a 90-degree angle, stick my face in there. Sure enough, Penn Jillette is looking up at me from inside a barrel. It was bizarre. It was absolutely bizarre. And then they were hanging out in the lobby of Chicago Theater later, and I got to meet them.
They're super cool. Teller gave me the best bit of acting advice I have ever gotten in my life.
First of all, Brian Kelly, producer, how did you meet Teller?
I saw them at a show in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
And after the show, I went up to him. I said, I'm a up and coming actor. Give me some advice. And he said, find out who you are to your audience. I was talking all the time, and I realized that I was funnier when I didn't talk.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So yeah, very creative and impressive man. Thank you for sharing that, Brian. So Penn and Teller, 50 Years of Magic at the Riverside Theater on Thursday night. So you can't ever be bored in Milwaukee, can you? 100 Beavers, Mascots on Main, coming up on What's on Tap.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
From sliding framed, semi-frameless, or frameless glass shower doors, to heavy all-glass custom enclosures that can be built to fit any opening, at Less's Glass, we cover all the bases. But our biggest strength isn't only our selection. It's in our installation experience. We've been around nearly 40 years, and you only last that long if your installers leave the job the way your customers expect it to be left. Other places can sell you a glass shower enclosure, and some of those big guys may even be able to do it for a little cheaper. But the question you need to ask yourself is, will the job be done right? So remember, paying for quality only hurts once, but it does feel good when you get what you expect. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, memory care issues. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. I've been in their places. I love how they deal with people. It's about compassion and empathy at Azura. Kindness is at their core. 14 locations from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan, 4 here in the Milwaukee area. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's about kindness and care. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 8 o'clock, it's 37 degrees in Milwaukee. Tonight will be mostly clear with some frost and a low of 28 degrees. Wednesday's looking partly cloudy with a high of 47 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Sean Brinda. Pleading not guilty after throwing a baby off a second-story balcony, 31-year-old Jamin Island of Milwaukee is charged with felony child abuse and battery. Court records show that Island was arguing with his wife's daughter about why the 1-year-old was crying, which led to a physical fight where he grabbed the child by the neck and threw the baby off the balcony 16 feet to the ground. The baby only suffered cuts and bruises in the fall. Cash bond is set at $15,000. Island is due back in court April 17th. And Decision Wisconsin. Today marks 1 week until the spring election. In-person absentee voting is underway, with Thursday being the last day to request an absentee ballot. You can register to vote in person at your local clerk's office until Friday or at your polling place on Election Day. Just bring a photo ID and proof of residency. Election Day is Tuesday, April 1st. Los Angeles County's new district attorney is making a big change involving the most serious of cases. ABC's Alex Stone reports from L.A.
The death penalty is no longer off the table for prosecutors here in L.A. County, reversing former L.A. County DA George Gascon's moratorium on seeking the death penalty. New DA Nathan Hochman says prosecutors will resume seeking it in murder cases after an extensive and comprehensive review. But even if defendants in L.A. County are sentenced to death, it's unclear if they'll actually be executed. Governor Gavin Newsom implemented a statewide moratorium on executions in 2019. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Tariffs have caused Canadians to boycott American products and travel destinations. Canadian economist Todd Hirsch tells WTMJ's Political Power Hour.
But Americans also purchase a lot from Canada. Resources like oil and gas, things like lumber, things like steel and aluminum. And those things are going to cost more for American consumers.
President Trump confirmed no exceptions for steel and aluminum tariffs, with more coming April 2nd. Bucks guard Damian Lillard has been diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis in his right calf. In ensuring his health and beginning to process a healthy return to play, Lillard is on a blood-thinning medication, according to the team, which has stabilized the DVT, and he will continue with regular testing. According to Bucks General Manager John Horst, he says, quote, "We will support him as he moves through this weekly process of strict criteria to ensure that he's safe for him to return to play. Doctors have indicated that his situation is very unlikely to occur again. The team will provide updates as appropriate." And the Brewers opened the regular season this Thursday against the New York Yankees. WTMJ meteorologist Craig Copeland gives us a peek into the weather in New York.
Brewers, when they open in New York, it looks fantastic. So Thursday, sunny, about 50. Friday, partly sunny, mid-50s. So, yeah, it looks like they'll get opening day in New York without any problem. They won't need to push it back a day.
You can hear our coverage of the game starting with Brewers warm-up on Thursday at 1 p.m. And American Family Field is using a new technology to shorten the lines. Go-Ahead Entry is a facial recognition scan that creates a seamless entry experience. Vice President of Stadium Operations, Steve Ether, tells WTMJ,
"You'll be able to keep your phone in your pocket. It will validate your ticket based on your facial authentication. You'll walk through screening. If you don't have a bag, you'd continue to keep your phone in your pocket. You don't have to divest anything and walk through screening, and it'll take seconds. It takes seconds to enroll, and it takes seconds to enter."
Go-Ahead Entry will be available next week, Monday, on Brewers opening day. Sports, traffic, weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 8:04.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
Get out and enjoy your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited puts cool stuff in your yard. Patios, decks, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, screen rooms, even in-ground pools. You dream it, we design it together, then Outdoor Living Unlimited installs it for you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Look what I found.
What is it?
It's a list of the traditional and modern anniversary gifts for each year of marriage.
Sarah and I use a different list. But go ahead and tell us about yours.
The traditional gift for your first anniversary is paper, but the modern gift is a clock.
Well, our list says the first anniversary is always diamond jewelry.
What's your list called?
The People's Choice.
The traditional gift for your 6th anniversary is iron, but the modern gift is wood.
What a coincidence. For the 6th anniversary, our list says diamonds again. What do you have for the 10th anniversary, Rick?
Traditional is aluminum, Modern is diamond jewelry.
Well, there you go. Our lists agree.
What have you got for the 7th anniversary?
Copper and a desk set.
Nope. Diamonds again.
I'm beginning to see the wisdom of the People's Choice list.
It's good to have you on board.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Did you make up that People's Choice list, or is it real?
Well, we're people, aren't we?
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Spring training is over. The Brewers finished the Cactus League season with a record of 16 wins and 14 losses. Next stop, New York for most of the team.
7 of our top 13 pitchers will not be going to New York. Well, there's 9 pitchers hurt, and maybe 2 of them will not be back for the season. But the other 7 will be back at some point, and that's what's crucial for us.
That's Brewers manager Pat Murphy. The regular season begins Thursday against the New York Yankees. The Bucks wrap up a 5-game road trip Wednesday night in Denver against the Nuggets. The Bucks begin the day in 5th place in the Eastern Conference playoff race with 11 games to play. Take a look at your roads with your WTMJ Johnson Sons Paving time-saver traffic. We got one incident on the road. Disabled vehicle on the ramp from County C to I-43 North. Other than that, roads are still looking pretty clear across Milwaukee area. Time for your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear with some frost and the low of 28 degrees. Wednesday, partly cloudy with a high of 47 degrees. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers in the morning with a high of 54 degrees. Friday, we'll have a chance of showers and storms with a high of 65 degrees. And Saturday, we'll have a chance of showers and storms with a high of 56 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 42. In Green Bay, it's 35. In Waukesha, it's 39. And in Milwaukee, it's 37 degrees. I'm Sean Brinda, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 8:07.
Your need-to-know cultural snapshot of Wisconsin and beyond. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. A deep dive into all things intriguing, riveting, and entertaining. Now, here's your host, Sandy Max.
100 beavers, mascots on Maine. Coming up this bonus hour of What's on Tap tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. First, a comedy announcement just released today. Milwaukee Comedy Festival presents Patton Oswalt Thursday, October 9th at the Pabst Theater. And Patton Oswalt, I was just talking about Blue Oyster Cult and Heart and Penn and Teller being around for 50 years. Patton Oswalt has not been around 50 years, but he has been in so many movies and TV shows, in addition to his own stand-up comedy specials. His latest one is called We All Scream. It was on Netflix last fall, and he even directed it, which was a first-time thing for him. But he was also nominated for a Grammy for his comedy, for that comedy album, and he starred in a movie called I Love My Dad. I remember seeing him in Young Adult, where he was playing lead with Charlize Theron. He was in Zoolander. He was in The Informant with Matt Damon. He's just been in so much stuff. And then TV-wise, you've seen him on Parks and Rec. Seinfeld was his TV acting debut. How funny is that? He's been in Veep. You know him for King of Queens. He was on that for 9 seasons. And then you hear his voice on that ABC show called The Goldbergs from the 80s. He's the narrator of that show. And then I was thinking about it, I was like, roll all the way back. He was the voice for Remy the Rat in Ratatouille. So like you kind of can't get away from Patton Oswalt but I don't think if you even realize that you hear him sometimes. And so he has been nominated for a total of 6 Grammys, 4 Emmys. One of his comedy specials has the funny name to me, Talking for Clapping. I think that's a funny name. But he got his first Grammy nomination for his album called My Weakness is Strong. And I think that album is hilarious. And this is where the My Weakness is Strong, this is where this Patton Oswalt clip comes from.
I flew here on JetBlue. That's the last airline I will ever fly. I love JetBlue. Oh my God in heaven, it's the best. Because JetBlue, that's the only airline, they've just embraced the fact that flying sucks. It used to be great in the early 60s. Oh my God, men would get dressed up, women would put on a nice dress. You could get to the airport 10 minutes before your flight, have a cocktail with the pilot, leave your bag at the gate. I'm off to Manhattan, darling. Mwah. Everybody was a spy. Now, air travel, you may as well strap a rocket onto the top of a bus and build a ramp and point it towards the city you're going towards. I'm gonna take the rocket bus to Galveston. I got my sweatpants on. I got my half tee that says, "Who farted?" I did. I got a big, hefty bag full of Papa corn that I made in my house because I love to land in new cities with treasures in my teethers.
I think it's funny. And you know what else I remember? I've worked at radio stations that did Christmas music all the time, and he has a video that's all about that Christmas Shoes song. So if you enjoy the comedy of Patton Oswalt, you have something to look forward to October 9th at the Pabst Theater, and it's part of the Milwaukee Comedy Festival. We're talking about the Milwaukee Film Festival yesterday. You can catch up on that podcast. But the Milwaukee Comedy Festival is coming up October 7th through the 12th. So that's something to look forward to, celebrating 20 years of laughs. So if you are kind of late to the Milwaukee Comedy Festival game, I think it'd be cool. MKEComedyFest.com is the website to keep an eye on. And if you think you're funny and you are a comedian, they are accepting submissions. So maybe you can perform at the Milwaukee Comedy Festival, or tell a buddy, like, hey, this is a chance for you to perform and be part of something, a 20-year tradition. So Milwaukee Comedy Fest, MKEComedyFest.com. And tickets will go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. if you want to see Patton Oswalt at the Pabst Theater on Thursday, October 9th, and have a laugh. Hundreds of beavers got one local business on an impressive list. That's next on What's on Tap.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
Clearly, Pride Fest has benefited from organizations who want to show their commitment to diversity.
Entertainment.
It's real-life drama. I would also call it true crime. It is just such a bizarre story.
And more.
We're able to tap about 400 trees and make some delicious maple syrup.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality. No gimmick. You'll get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky. All you have to do is purchase a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace. And this heat pump is not only going to give you 2 sources of heat and a backup, but also the heat pump will act as an AC system to cool your home as well. It's extremely efficient. I have a heat pump in my own home, and this I know. Your heat pump will cut your energy bills substantially. You'll be getting a top-of-the-line heat pump system and a free furnace. And you'll save thousands plus qualifying government incentives. So now, through March 31st, you'll get a heck of a deal from Quality. This is the only time of the year we can do this. So call Quality, and let's get you taken care of. Get your free furnace and upgrade your home's HVAC system to absolute max efficiency. Buy a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace through March 31st.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max is back on WTMJ.
Hundreds of beavers. Have you heard of this film? The magazine Fast Company released their 2025 list of the most innovative companies. And Jeff Sherman, host of The Upswing here on WTMJ, he shared a Wisconsin connection today to that list and to the connection 100 beavers play in this honor.
Well, let's talk about SRH and its inclusion in the film and television list for the publication. Matt Sablejack, partner and president of the firm, joins us in studio. So, Matt, one of the major reasons you're included on the list is a film that your company worked on called Hundreds of Beavers. Really creative, super funny. But that independent film space, it's tough. And how do you build kind of a, I don't know, maybe not the perfect world, but a cult following for an independent film? And how do you spur release with creativity? Because I'm guessing that's why your firm landed up on this list.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. Like, we're on this most innovative list, and you just rattled off those companies. And it's largely due to a 108-minute black and white silent slapstick comedy film, that was made on a shoestring budget, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't start there and go like, wow, that's really innovative, right? But the way that I've just got to give a shout out to the filmmakers, Mike Cheslick, Ryland Tews, my partners, Kurt and Sam. The way that we couldn't find a distributor for this film because it's such an oddball, and so we had to figure out how we're going to do it on our own. And I think that what got us on this list is the fact that we approach this like we would building a brand, which is top down, bottom up. Top down, we were always going after write-ups in the New York Times, the LA Times, Vanity Fair, et cetera. That stuff really still matters because it reaches huge audiences.
Exactly, right.
In fact, you don't think of innovation when you think of the Associated Press, but when we got an AP pickup, it was a huge deal. And then the bottom-up thing was we were relentless on social with engagement. We did hundreds of parody posters for the film. We did a road show through the Midwest. Instead of launching this film on the coast, we did like a 13, 14 city road show complete with like live in-theater stunts. And I think what really got us on this list and made this film famous was like our willingness to do things that most studios just aren't willing to do to get a film popular.
Yeah, I mean, to really be in the trenches and to spur creativity. The film's about a drunken Applejack salesman and kind of his ongoing battle with an army of beavers, right?
Beavers played by mascots.
And mascots in beaver costumes. So it's the premise, obviously a little wacky and lends itself to creativity, but you got to lean into that. And so when you think about that creativity and your success there, how do you see it influencing films in the future? And then how do you use it for your current clients?
Yeah. I mean, we're now, thanks to the success of Hundreds of Beavers, like we're now meeting with filmmakers who have, original, interesting, not reverse engineered. Let's start with like what's popular and where the audience is, but like truly art, like Hundreds of Beavers, I think really is. It's like cinema, and helping them go, okay, well, how are you going to find an audience with your film now, right? And bringing the same toolbox and tactics to it, which is like, okay, well, we've got to find these niche communities that are really likely to champion this film. We've got to target them digitally. We've got to get in theaters and create a live social experience, And then we've got to allure people in the same way that I think it's a lot more like an indie band mentality than it is a film mentality, selling merch, et cetera. Right?
Yeah.
And on the client side of things, I mean, this is the toolbox that we work, the building fame toolbox of being really distinctive. I look at it like WMD. It's like worthy of remembering, being moving, and being distinctive, right? Like something that's really memorable, something that has an emotional attachment or inspiration to it, and then something that's distinctive. It's not going to be mistaken for something else, right? It's not generic. It's not going to, what is that film? It's kind of like that other film. Nobody ever forgets Hundreds of Beavers.
I think it's an understatement. Matt Sablejack of SRH, the film company that just made it on the top 10 list of Fast Company magazine's 2025 list of the most innovative film and television companies right here in Wisconsin, and the creators of Hundreds of Beavers, the movie. And you tell me film doesn't bring people together. That's entertaining. And I remember when Hundreds of Beavers was screening at the Milwaukee Film Festival a few years ago, but you can watch it at home. It is streaming on several services, on Con TV, on Fandor, Freevee, Pluto TV, Tubi, and you can also see it on Prime Video if you're now curious or you want to see Hundreds of Beavers again because you're already a fan. A black and white silent film full of slapstick. Sometimes that's what the doctor ordered, isn't it? And if you're in that mood, I think we transition right now from Hundreds of Beavers to Mascots on Main. Look out, Wisconsin. You might have some mascots roaming your streets. I'll explain next on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Wisconsin's Midday News, bringing you the latest in news.
A new bill to fund the federal government will cut millions from Wisconsin projects.
Sports.
The Bucs just aren't that good. They've not beaten the top three teams in the Eastern Conference.
Traffic.
I've never heard of this. I don't think I've ever seen this, and I have done traffic.
for years in different situations.
And weather.
Well, sun is shining, still chilly, however.
Join Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty, only on WTMJ.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Pain can make you feel like no matter what you try, it's not going to work. Or it can make you try any and everything. And most times that'll make you feel like you've been taken for a ride. It's hard to believe that there's a solution to your pain problem that works, is safe, and is actually affordable. But that's why most insurance plans pay for pain treatments from Rejuvenex, because they're FDA approved and they do work. Toradol and hyaluronic acid work together to substantially alleviate your pain. And we've seen patients experience pain relief for greater than 2 years after completing a series of treatments. Is it a one and done? No. But at as low as $65 per joint? It's an affordable alternative to surgery. And it's not an expensive cross your fingers and hope it works experiment. Especially for older pain sufferers, the pain treatment that Rejuvenex offers is worth trying, because the vast majority of patients who do live better lives in a lot less pain. Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Viking or Princess, or design your own bucket list adventure with Insight Vacations. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
Welcome back to What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Mascot Mania. Mascots on Maine around cities in Wisconsin. I like this concept. I'm Sandy Max. Thank you for joining me on What's on Tap, because I enjoy bringing you stories of culture and creativity and fun. Mascots make me smile. I'm one of those people that turn into like a 7-year-old all over again when there's a mascot. And when I've worked with the Milwaukee Brewers, whenever it was Bernie's birthday party and it was going to be a gathering of all the mascots, you know, playing games and frolicking in the outfield in half innings. I just love that. And I've worked with Milwaukee Wave games when it's Brad Beach's birthday party and all the mascots kick the ball around. I just find that highly fun and good, clean fun and entertaining. And it can, just brings a smile to adults and kids. And Universities of Wisconsin started something last month, Mascots on Maine. And it's a really fun way to connect to the community. It's not mascots just handing out candy to kids. This is a program where university chancellors and their mascot go out and visit businesses with a connection to the university. Maybe they partner with the university, or maybe it's a business that's owned by an alumnus or that employs the university students, or just simply somehow supports the universities of Wisconsin. So they started this in February, about a month ago. So they're about halfway through their tour. And it started with UW-Platteville Chancellor Tammy Evetovich and mascot Pioneer Pete. And the fun part is you can follow along on the Universities of Wisconsin social media. So we're Facebook, X, LinkedIn, YouTube. You can follow along because they've been posting these fun, like, minute-and-a-half videos of the visits. And I'm charmed by them. So far, UW-Platteville, Pioneer Pete, along with Chancellor Tammy Evetovich, Willie the Warhawk in UW-Whitewater toured several businesses with Chancellor Corey King, including Dale's Bootery, the Edgerton Hospital, went to a bank and a cafe. So that's That's surprise and delight is what that is when the mascot shows up. UW Stevens Point, their mascot is Stevie Pointer, and it's a dog. And Stevie Pointer cruised around Stevens Point with Chancellor Thomas Gibson. They went to some stores in downtown Stevens Point, spreading joy. Ranger D. Bear is the mascot for UW Parkside with Chancellor Lynn Akey. They did a tour of some businesses, including Jockey. Blue the Blue Gold is a bird, a bright blue and yellow bird, the mascot for UW Eau Claire. And Chancellor Jim Schmidt, they toured around, included visiting Silver Spring Foods. And the most recent Mascots on Main visit was UW Oshkosh with Clash the Titan. That's a good mascot name, along with Chancellor Andrew Levitt. So there's still some places to keep your eye out for mascots on Main. UW Superior, UW River Falls, UW Stout, UW Green Bay, got UW Milwaukee. I still, is it Pounce now? Because I liked it when the mascot was Victor E. Panther, but it's Pounce now. So we'll see if Pounce shows up. Also UW Madison, UW Parkside. I think Parkside already, did Parkside already? Yeah, Parkside already did. So Ranger D. Bear has already made his mascots on Main visit. But just a way to spread delight and remind communities how involved universities are and how graduates go on to work in those businesses or start those businesses, and that those businesses appreciate having a university in their community. So Mascots on Main. Check out the Universities of Wisconsin social media challenges if you want to switch out from puppy videos and kitty videos and watch some mascot videos instead. We've got events to look forward to and a new season of musicals at the Marcus Performing Arts Center. Stay with us on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. With spring in the air, a young man's fancy turns to ceiling fans. And at BBC, he'll see all the best quality fans and their newest styles. The new fan electronics provide a great method of moving air, and with LED lights, they use less electricity than ever. We have fans in all sizes, from 24 to 96 inches wide, and their motors are warranted for life. At BBC, we advise you on the right fan for your needs, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and on Saturday 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue across from Sobelman's and Bachman Furniture, all near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
When you want the best medical attention, you don't just go to anybody, you go to a specialist. The same should be true with your car or truck. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. When your vehicle needs service, take it to a specialist, an Adam member new car dealer. Adam dealers use factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians specially trained on the advanced technology on your vehicle. They have all the latest manufacturer service bulletins and will know if your issue is covered by an existing warranty or if there are any recalls. And despite what you might assume, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine maintenance and tires. Now, knowing all that, why would you even consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
For great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with the new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Max on WTMJ.
Thanks for hanging out with me. It's a bonus hour of What's on Tap here with you till 9 o'clock, helping you make the most of your weekend and, heck, the week. And some fun events coming up. I did dry January, and so I'm back to recreational drinking. And if you're going to, enjoy a cocktail, why not have a taste sensation? Tiki Takedown is happening at Turner Hall Ballroom, and it's become an annual tradition. And Saturday afternoon, mixologists from all kinds of local bars and restaurants are creating unique tiki cocktail creations. And you can help them and vote for who can claim the Tiki Takedown trophy and the Tiki Master title. And I feel like I love a theme party. So I feel like you can dress up and Hawaiian style with your loud Hawaiian shirt and just really lean into Saturday afternoon's Tiki Takedown at Turner Hall Ballroom. And on the other side of dressing for the occasion, Mitchell Park Domes, they are still having the train show. And the train show's theme is this Victorian theme. And on Saturday, Gardens and Gears Steampunk Fair at Mitchell Park Domes. So I think that's going to be cool. It's been about 5 years since they've done the Gardens and Gears. So this is, I think a lot of people are ready to break out. The entertainment, the costume parade, food, free face painting, which is always fun for the kids. And they're calling it the punkiest event of the springish season. And it's included in your Dome's admission. So if you hang out Saturday at the Domes for Gardens and Gears, the Steampunk Fair. And other things to look forward to, Beatles fans, I've had this circled on my calendar for months now. The Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, the Pops, are doing Twist and Shout, the music of the Beatles, a symphonic experience. And the principal Pops conductor, Byron Stripling, he's been a guest here on What's on Tap. He has such energy and love for music of all kinds, especially music that brings people together. And the Fab Four are going to be celebrated in symphonic fashion with Byron Stripling conducting. And it's going to celebrate their music all the way from 1964, when Beatlemania really hit big here in the States. And you're going to see rare photos of the Beatles in America from the Beatles photo book archive. So it's going to be this multimedia experience. And that is happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Bradley Symphony Center downtown on Wisconsin Avenue. Twist and Shout, the music of the Beatles, a symphonic experience. And if you're feeling crafty, the Crazy Quilters Quilt Show is happening in Mukwonago at Parkview Middle School Saturday and Sunday. Over 300 items on display from quilters who really have a passion for quilting as a real art form. It is fiber art, whether using just, the square patterns or whether you get really creative and, make photos out of your quilting. So the Crazy Quilters Quilt Show, there's even a bed turning presentation and demonstrations. Sounds interesting. Mukwonago, Parkview Middle School, the Crazy Quilters Quilt Show. And was it yesterday already? Good gosh. Yeah, it was yesterday when Robin Ehrlich from Milwaukee Film Festival was here giving us a preview of the Milwaukee Film Festival, which starts in a month. And so that's exciting. But guess what? The Beloit International Film Festival is happening this weekend. It kicks off on Friday, goes through April 6th. So 10 days of films that celebrate the power of independent film from around the globe. 100 films. You can meet the filmmakers. So just a smaller version of the Milwaukee Film Festival in Beloit. I hesitate to say smaller, but just just a different community. I don't feel like smaller. I'm more intimate, but I don't feel like it's an insult. But I love that the Beloit Film Festival has been happening for 20 years. And the New York Times called the Beloit International Film Festival, quote, a festival with a unique goal of returning the spirit of film festivals' golden era, when guests talked film all night with directors and writers who were on hand and available for questions. So if you just can't wait for the Milwaukee Film Festival in a month, head on over to Beloit for 10 days of films and see what they are offering. And click on their website and make sure I get you the correct, yes, it is just that simple, BeloitFilmFest.org is their website, BeloitFilmFest.org, celebrating the spirit of independent film. Telling you, it's tough to be bored in Wisconsin. We're going to Find out some theater picks from UPAF's Katie Couric next on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
So he said to me, boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders. And I said, you betcha. And he said, do you mind if I cherry pick? And I said, feel free. They're all beautiful and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'ma get a scholarship to King's College.
Oh, yeah. Want to sing along with that, don't you? Hamilton is one of the titles that is coming back to Milwaukee as part of the Marcus Performing Arts Center's next season, the 2025-26 season. And today, Wisconsin Morning News' Vince Vitrano invited one of the right people to give insights on the musicals announced for the new season at the Marcus Performing Arts Center.
Friend of the program and friend of the arts, Katie Couric from United Performing Arts Fund. And Katie, we have asked you here today, not so much in your capacity with UPAF, but as a person I know who travels regularly to New York and sees all the shows.
Yeah, you're putting my excessive trips to New York to good use, Vince.
Which is much appreciated. So just overall impression, 9 shows coming to Milwaukee, and it looks like a pretty solid list.
I think it's a really strong season. I think it's a good mix of shows that people know and love, or at least stories that people know and love, while sprinkling in some of those newer Tony Award-winning shows, which is really exciting to see in Milwaukee.
Okay, well, do you want to start there in the newer Tony Award-winning shows that we haven't had in Milwaukee? And you're wearing the shirt today, if folks are watching along on the YouTube stream, for Kimberly Akimbo. I think you're the first person who told me about this show.
Yeah, so I saw Kimberly Akimbo on a whim on Broadway. I always get tickets at the half-price ticket booth in Times Square. We were waiting in line, and someone compared Kimberly Akimbo to Ted Lasso. In that it's just a feel-good show that deals with some real subject matter, but at the end of the day, it's just lighthearted and fun, and you'll leave the theater feeling good. So it was the winner of 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, in what I thought was a very competitive season. I was a little surprised it won Best Musical, not because it wasn't great, but it was just really steep competition. And it follows the story of a teenager who is moving to a new town and who has this fictional disorder where she ages like 4 to 5 times faster than she should. So it's someone who presents themselves like they're in their 60s in high school and how she is navigating through that because she is really just 15, 16 years old.
So is it hilarious?
It is, yeah. It definitely has, like I said, it's got some serious moments of navigating turmoils of family and dealing with such an odd health thing like that, but also total lighthearted, fun, exciting moments.
Talking with Katie Couric about the Marcus Performing Arts Center's upcoming Broadway season 2025-26, Kimberly Akimbo in February of 26. I was not aware that this hadn't been on stage, and I guess it was only recently revived on Broadway. The Wiz.
Yes, The Wiz recently was revived last year on Broadway. It started in California, it started in LA in a sit down there, and then toured the country before Broadway, and then went to Broadway, and now is touring again. So it has obviously been on stages in Milwaukee in more of a professional regional setting, but this is the first time a Broadway production will have toured through Milwaukee.
Hamilton, a big one. The big one, perhaps. So my daughter, my oldest, is 13, and she is kind of recently obsessed with Broadway musicals. We're going to see Wicked this summer, which is going to be so fun. But I know she's going to bug me about Hamilton, but is it true that you can only see Hamilton if you buy the 7-ticket package or something? Like, don't you have to buy a package?
I think the Hamilton is an add-on to the package.
Okay.
Oh, an add-on.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a way to add on to your season ticket package.
Got it.
And it is here for like 2 weeks, so there should be plenty of time for everyone to see it.
January 20th through February 1st of 26. So it's a long run.
It's a long run.
If you want to go, you'll be able to go.
Because it has been, this is 3rd or 4th time I think it's been in Milwaukee. And yes, you can see this show on Disney Plus, but it's so different being in a theater, sharing it with those people around you. It's such a different experience and something that everyone should see.
In terms of the family shows, you have around the holidays, Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical, and then Mrs. Doubtfire actually starts off this season, so that's based on the movie as well. That comes September 30th.
Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire kind of had a tough go on Broadway in that it really fell victim to COVID. It started previews like 3 days before the Broadway shutdown and then reopened after. Didn't have the legs it needed to. Right. But now it's been really successful on tour, and it's one of those feel-good shows. It's nice that it's a story everyone's familiar with, so really approachable for anyone who wants to get to the theater.
I just like about these two, and when we went to Frozen last year, I took my daughter, who is now a teenager.
We saw that too.
But,
so fun.
Amazing show. My favorite thing about it was not what was on stage. It was looking at all the littles in their dresses and their Anna and Elsas and their, in line for the soda. Can I get us and you're seeing that in their eyes that for many of them, first time they've ever been in a big theater.
Exactly. And I think The Grinch will be just like that. Yeah. I saw The Grinch was here a handful of years ago. That is another really great family show. It really is a Dr. Seuss book on stage, which is amazing. The colors, the costumes, everything is so familiar to anyone who's seeing it.
Spamalot, Monty Python Spamalot.
I love
that calls
Spamalot.
to my inner child.
Spamalot is one of just, for whatever reason, my favorite shows. I stumbled upon it when I was shortly after high school. My high school did it. But then this show originated at the Kennedy Center in 2023. So I was kind of hesitant. A friend of mine was in the show at the Kennedy Center, and all of a sudden we're like, we're going. We're just taking a trip to D.C. Saw it in D.C. I saw this production twice in New York. It is so funny. I will admit, you have to like British humor. It is, at the end of the day, Monty Python. So if that's something you're like morally opposed to, maybe it's not for you. But it is just a big Broadway show. You've got the big dance numbers. You've got the big cast. You've got the tap dancing. You've just got everything you want in just a hilarious show on Broadway.
Show that a lot of people are excited about, and it's gotten a lot of buzz on Broadway, is And Juliet. And this is another one of these shows where they're taking contemporary music. These will be titles you've heard, artists you've heard, but they're done Broadway style. And the story is what? If Juliet hadn't offed herself?
Yes. If Juliet did not kill herself at the end of Romeo and Juliet,
and
what would happen?
Spoiler alert, that's what happens in Romeo and Juliet. So,
in case you didn't know.
This was, haven't read it yet.
This was one of those shows, Backstreet Boys, Katy Perry, Pink, Bon Jovi, I didn't realize these songs by all these artists were written by the same person. So all of the music in this show is written by producer and writer Max Martin. And it all fits so well. Because, sometimes jukebox musicals can be a little like, oh, this is a stretch. These are not a stretch. They make these songs fit so perfectly in the storyline. And it's really fun, as you said, having these pop songs get a Broadway feel.
Well, we saw Moulin Rouge this last season or earlier this year. I can't remember. And so is that kind of the feel, right?
Totally.
The same thing?
Very
songs
similar.
You know, and you're like, oh my gosh, I know this song.
Exactly. You will know almost every song, without a doubt.
I feel like musicals, maybe some of the newer ones, are the ones I haven't heard of. Like, everyone's always telling me how hilarious the musicals are. Like, they're just getting funnier, maybe, or is that just me and what I'm hearing on the streets?
Wittier?
Like, it just seems like there's such a comedic aspect.
Is that
to
what you're
these
hearing
Broadway...
on the street about the musical?
You mean my niece who goes to all the musicals?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
I think the writing is fantastic.
The writing is fantastic, and it can go from super, super funny, like you said, and I think that's a lot of what the shows are talking about, but it could also go to the total other end of the spectrum. Like, there are really just strong, great stories being told in every aspect on Broadway and in turn on these Broadway tours that is very different from what it was early on in the history of musical theater, because I feel like all those shows are kind of the same, and while they have their place and are great, it's a lot has been freshened up and newer as we've gotten into contemporary times.
Talking with Katie Corrick of United Performing Arts Fund, but also the person I know who sees all of the shows on Broadway. So rounding out the 9-show season, and I say rounding out in our conversation, but actually early in 2025, October show that goes into November. It's a pretty short run. It's Les Miserables, which I was surprised to hear. It's one of my favorites, but I was surprised to hear from Kevin Galento, who runs the Marcus Center. He said, this is the #1 show that people ask me about every year. Is Les Mis coming back? Is Les Mis coming back?
I believe that. A friend randomly asked me yesterday out of nowhere. He's like, Katie, what is the musical? Like, if you had to say, what do you think of the epitome of everything good in a musical? His answer was Les Mis. And I kind of believe that, it's this big, grand show. The voices in that show are so powerful. The sets are amazing. It is just the epitome of what a Broadway show should be. And I feel like Les Mis is what that was back when it was made, and Hamilton's kind of what that is now. So you got both of them in this season.
I would suggest Les Mis, and I know this is sacrilege, but can we lop off about 20 minutes of that second act?
I wasn't going to say it, Vince, but they spent way too long on the barricade, and that is my criticism of Les Mis.
All right, already. Start
the second act, 20 to 30 minutes shorter. Because it isn't like a 3-hour musical. It is a longer one.
Wait, oh, Marius, just quit your whining. Let's go.
Truly.
Katie Corrick, United Performing Arts Fund's friend of the arts and a good friend of mine as well. Thanks so much for your reviews. And I'm told Wicked is already 80% sold for this summer.
You better get on that.
That comes to the Marcus Center end of July.
UPAF's Katie Corrick visiting Vince Vitrano and Michelle Richards this morning on Wisconsin's Morning News. And I love her energy, and I love that she goes to Broadway shows like I Chase bands around the world, and that you just have to see them and see them multiple times. And I respect her opinion. Les Mis, it even says on the poster, still the world's most popular musical. MarcusCenter.org if you want to sniff around on the shows that are coming up next season, 25 and 26, and also see what's coming up this season. Vince just mentioned Wicked. That's coming this summer. And right now at the Marcus is A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical that just opened tonight and runs through Sunday. So MarcusCenter.org. Make your theater plans. I'm Sandy Mack. Stay with me on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Spanning the State with Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
If I had to see the same amount of ads, I would rather those ads
actually informing you?
Yes. Tell me what that candidate is going to do, not made up garbage about what the other one did in your fantasy world. That's not what I want.
Tell us what you're going to do. How are these people supposed to campaign given what the nature of the job is? They're going to respond to the cases that come in front of them.
Yes.
Stop talking about the other person. We want to be more informed.
Only on WTMJ.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality. No gimmick. You'll get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky. All you have to do is purchase a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace. And this heat pump is not only going to give you 2 sources of heat and a backup, but also the heat pump will act as an AC system to cool your home as well. It's extremely efficient. I have a heat pump in my own home, and this I know. Your heat pump will cut your energy bills substantially. You'll be getting a top-of-the-line heat pump system and a free furnace. And you'll save thousands plus qualifying government incentives. So now, through March 31st, you'll get a heck of a deal from Quality. This is the only time of the year we can do this. So call Quality, and let's get you taken care of. Get your free furnace and upgrade your home's HVAC system to absolute max efficiency. Buy a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace through March 31st.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Welcome back to What's on Tap on WTMJ.
I'm Sandy Max. Thanks for hanging out with me on this bonus hour of What's on Tap. I'm looking forward to meeting you back here at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Be on for an hour and a half tomorrow due to Bucks basketball. So from 6 to 7:30, already making plans. And I know for sure we'll be rolling out the red carpet for the makers of a new documentary called Brady Street, A Portrait of a Neighborhood. And it's directed by Sean Kafer, program director of Doc UWM. And it's been filmed over 3 years by students at Doc UWM's film program. So we're going to find out more about how that project came about and where we can see it. So Brady Street, A Portrait of a Neighborhood, celebrating culture and creativity here in Wisconsin and around the world. That checks the box right there, so that way we can learn more. It'd be interesting to find out what we don't know about Brady Street and the neighborhood there. And thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. If you missed any of the conversations, I can highly recommend checking out the podcast later tonight in just minutes because we had a lot of fun. Truly, happy birthday to Captain James Lovell, extraordinary astronaut. Next time you drive on James Lovell Street, give a little salute, give a little nod. But we got to talk with Chris Henry, who's the director of the EAA AirVenture Museum, who has met Captain Lovell and was responsible for gathering a bunch of the Apollo astronauts for an EAA AirVenture celebration several years ago. And just wonderful to look back on Captain Lovell's career so far. So I think you'll enjoy that conversation. And not only is it James Lovell's birthday, it is also Tolkien Reading Day. So any Lord of the Rings fan that if you missed our conversation with Marquette University's Dr. Bill Fliss and Professor Jerry Canavan, they know so much about Tolkien because Tolkien's manuscripts are housed at the Rayner Library at Marquette. So it was really fun to talk with them and celebrate Tolkien Day as well. So catch up on the podcast anytime. And if you're inspired right now, go ahead, text the word TAP to the Sighting Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. When you text TAP to 855-616-1620, text TAP and we will send you back a link. You can just tap and click right there. See, use the word TAP, 855-616-1620. And you can listen to the podcast anytime. And remember, if you have been meaning to email me about the European Brewery Tour that I'm going on and hosting in September, 10 days in Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic, if you haven't emailed me yet, do that. Sandy at WTMJ.com, SANDY at WTMJ.com. Make some memories with me as we sip beer and enjoy the sights, the landmarks, and the landscape in Munich, in Salzburg, Vienna, and in Prague. It's going to be an epic trip. I'm really looking forward to that with Steve Bertrand Travel. So check out the brochure at WTMJ.com or send me that note, SANDY at WTMJ.com. And as ever, always interested in what you want to learn more about. If you have story ideas, you can use that email as well. And there's so much to cover in our area. You just heard a slew of season openings between the Marcus Performing Arts Center, Skylight Music Theater recently released their new season. Racine Theater Guild did. So there's a lot to keep up with. So subscribe to the podcast. And also, like I said, it's easy to miss a story sometimes when you're trying to cover as much as possible. So feel free to pop me a note, Sandy at WTMJ.com. And get ready for another thing we're getting ready for here. Good gravy. Opening day, the home opener on Monday. We are so busy here, and we are so looking forward to kicking off this season. And I'm hearing that there are going to be Bob Uecker tributes that are part of opening day. And we will keep you covered from bright and early in the morning all the way through game time. And then on Monday night on opening day, we have a special What's on Tap that will be full of baseball content, including looking on trying to get you some tailgating tips on Thursday's show. So thanks so much for hanging out with us on What's on Tap tonight, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WT.